Welcome to the weekend live show.
508 is where I'm from.
We run down the biggest stories of the week with you every Saturday night. Let us know in the comments right now where you reppin'.
Apache Junction, Canton, Worcester, Long Island, Manchard, South Florida, Webster, Malden, Framingham, Tucson, Billerica, Salem, Gloucester, Moosop, Connecticut, Charleston, South Carolina, Roslindale, Moosop, Connecticut, London, Hanson, Glendale, Arizona, Lynn, Mapleville, Quincy.
Food stamps, leave it closed, buddy, and then we're screwing up the
funny ass guy, man.
Have you ever heard of Turtleboy? Yeah? Are you a fan?
508 is where I'm from.
Hey, what's up?
508 is where I'm from.
How was that?
You a freaking idiot. Stop telling people that I'm mentally deranged and stupid.
Call me Aiden. He's not a doctor, but...
Get out of my store, please.
You're a fucking loser.
You are a loser.
You're not a journalist. You're nobody.
You're not turtle hair. Don't make such fun of the criminal justice system.
NFL on the house, blog that.
Let's get this party started.
You're calling yourself a turtle. A turtle. Do you know what that means? A turtle. Guess what?
It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom. Bring the noise. Go, baby, we bringing our toys. Operating for the boys. Chopper be singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go 8 going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wildin'. You must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this. So it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go 8 going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
It's go, 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 go time. Tick, tick, boom.
You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go 8 going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
It's go, 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 go time.
Hey, what's up, Turtle Riders? How's everyone doing out there tonight? Good, good, excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I am your fearless host. They call me Dr. Turtleboy around here because if Jill Biden's a doctor, then so am I. That's my Twitter handle too. I am at DOCTOR Turtleboy on the Twitter machine. Although lately, a lot of people started calling me Daddy. Preferably just the women. I mean, it's okay. I mean, if you want to call me Daddy, if you're a guy, it's just a little weird. Not gonna lie, but you can call me whatever you want. Just be here every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. And make sure you smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell because you never know when we're going to be doing an impromptu live. Quite frankly, especially in like the last 5 months, you really never know when we're going to do an impromptu live. Any day now, something big could happen. Federal indictments could happen. You never, ever know. Maybe I'm doing a random protest again. Just a lot going on, man. A lot going on. So make sure you do that. If it's your first time here, welcome aboard the Turtle. We have quite a lively show here. You know, considering the number of subs that we have, I think we have like 43.7 right now. We're at 43,700, something around there. And when you compare it to other channels that have like, you know, like I went on Chrissy Mayer's show and I went on Larry Foreman's show and they have a lot more subs than me, those guys. It's like, but you know, you look at the numbers on here, the numbers that we're getting, like we're at 1,600 right now. usually we're getting close to like over 3,000 on an average night. Like that's what we get up to. Maybe we'll get that high. I don't know. But compared to other channels, man, we get a shitload of freaking people on here. Like it's wild because people come here because it's the only channel where they can get the biggest story in the country completely, no bullshit, no strings attached, no lies, no holds barred, like nothing. Like we give you, we're the only ones telling the truth about the Karen Read case. And I think that's why a lot of people are coming here. We didn't used to have numbers like this. But we've built a reputation. And a lot of people have asked me, like, what are you going to do when this story goes away? I'm like, well, the story's not going away for a while. First of all, when Karen Read is exonerated, obviously that's going to be awesome. We're all going to be very happy about that. But that's phase one is done at that part. Then it's on to getting justice for John O'Keefe, which requires the people who did this to him to be held responsible. And so the story is going to go on for a while, but long story short, I don't know. Maybe I'll start doing true crime shit. I don't know. That seems to be very popular on these channels. And I do like the true crime stuff. I used to do the true crime stuff on Turtle Club only. Like if you look back, I did when Koberger was first arrested, I did a stream about that. I've done the Pam Hupp case on Turtle Club. Like I've done a number of stuff on Turtle Club. Maybe we'll start. It's very popular. But the thing about this story, it makes it unique. Overall, the other stories really is it's the most insane story ever. Like none of these other true crime stories, Murdaugh, none of this shit compares to Karen Read. And it really should be the biggest story in the country because all those other guys, like for the most part, they did it. It seems like most people agree. Like I did a poll on here. Like, do you think Koberger did it? Because people have been following and like most people agree he did it. Like the evidence against him is 1,000,000 times stronger than the evidence against Karen Read or Murdaugh. So like, I guess what I'm getting at here is often these true crime stories, it's like, you feel like you're not really fighting. It's interesting, right? It's engaging, but you feel like you're not really like fighting for something. Whereas with this, you know that you're on the side of good. Like it's just such an obvious good versus evil. And it's just wild that the most powerful people, the ones who have all the guns, they're the ones that are the sides of evil. And it's just, and we saw it yesterday, man. We saw it yesterday, just how willing these people are to just gaslight us and lie to our faces about everything that they're doing. So we're going to get into all that tonight. But yeah. So anyway, guys, like I said, smash that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I've thought about I'm all fired up because we got a lot to talk about tonight because we got to review a lot of things that happened at the hearing yesterday and just talk about the day and stuff like that. And we got to watch Jen McCabe's freak out. How awesome was that? But on top of that, I watched the court TV interviews, right? I watched, first of all, Vinnie Politan is awesome. Like that guy is fully on board. that guy knows what's up. He knows what's up. You know who else knows what's up? Grace Curley knows what's up. I was going to tweet this out today and I sent Grace Curley is kind of like first, like the person right before Howie Carr. She's like the next Howie Carr basically. And she's on WRKO. She's been on there for a bit. She's got her own show. I think it ends at 3:00 every day. And she's had me on a couple times. And she's just recently gotten into this story. And it's really important to get people like her on board because a lot of people listen to WRKO, especially in Norfolk County. It's one of the most popular talk radio stations in Boston, right? So I go on there yesterday, right? I went on there Thursday rather. I was on there like 2 weeks ago, and then she had me on again because all of her family's into this. And they're like, you got to get Turtleboy back on. And I went on there and we had like a 45-minute conversation. It was really good radio. Go check it out if you haven't heard already. And I look on Karen's fundraiser thing, and I saw this yesterday from a guy named David. He sends me this at 5:12. He says, you can thank Grace Curley's show when she had Turtleboy on. I thought you were guilty based on nothing but news pictures. I thought you were guilty based on nothing but news pictures. But now, what the fuck? Corruption in government. What else is new? And so that's a very small example right there. And yeah, it's only $20, but you're missing the point here. It's that people are listening to this, that like there's other platforms out there. Not everyone listens to Turtleboy. Everyone should, but not everyone does. So because of that, it's really important to reach new people all the time. And some people have said the other day, they're like, when I went on Chrissy Mayer's show, they're like, well, she doesn't really know about it that well. this woman does. It's like nobody knows it as well as us. Nobody. We know, like everybody who's like here right now, like you're all, for the most part, you're following the story intently. You know it better than most of the quote unquote experts out there. But it's important to find new audiences. This can't be like a clique. This can't be like a cult thing. Like this has to be like every big tent. Everyone's welcome aboard. Everybody's welcome in, because it's really important that we spread the news of this story. If you ask what to share the 30-minute frame video. That once they watch that, they're hooked, because it's true. Everything in there is true. It comes with pictures. I'm really glad we did that, because I don't know how many views that's up to now, but a lot of people have obviously watched that. So, yeah. But what I was saying with the Court TV thing, I watched that today, and like it was really good to have Vinnie, like the host, in our corner, right? Because again, he's another one that's been actually following this, so he knows what's going on, and he seems to like me. We had a good rapport when I went on a show. But the experts that Court TV brings on, he's not picking them. Like some producers are. They're like, they probably have like a rotation of morons that come on there, and every week they get dumber and dumber. Yesterday was peak dumb. Like there was a woman on there who started off by saying that this is odd that these protests are going on because Massachusetts is a very conservative state. That's how she started it off. Massachusetts is a conservative state. Like Elizabeth Warren comes from here. Maura Healey's the governor of Massachusetts. Ed Markey, Ted Kennedy. Like, no, we are one of the most liberal states in the country. So actually protesting against police would be pretty par for the course. But what makes this unique is I'm not a liberal. I'm a radical conservative. Everybody knows that. But I can see through the bullshit. That does, you know what I mean? Like that doesn't mean I don't see, when I see something wrong, I'm not going to say it. Chris Albert and I voted for the same people. That doesn't mean I'm not going to call him what he is. Sorry, dude. Like, I'm not with you on this one. I don't do the murder stuff. I don't do the cover-up stuff. So I might agree with you on COVID policies or masks or whatever, but definitely not with you on the murder stuff. Sorry. And your chicken parm sucks. Let's be honest. So what I think I need to do is, I'm big on this no amnesty thing now. That's my big thing now. I am so sick of the people that think that they can just, when this goes away, move on. Like they can go on TV and use these platforms to spread lies about the Karen Read case and Karen Read herself and the facts of the matter. And then when she is exonerated and when the bad guys go to jail, they think they're just going to move on. No. We are going to chronicle everything. And so I think we almost need to do like a special show on Monday or something this week of just reviewing, just so it's documented. We're going to watch all the Court TV stuff again, all these experts, and we're going to write their names down. And we're going to start making lists. And when this gets fixed, none of those people are allowed on TV again. They will apologize. We will not accept it. There will be no amnesty. This is the most important case in the country. And if you don't have the goddamn time to learn about it, then don't go on TV and talk about it. Shut your filthy mouth. That's it. So I think I might do like a special show Monday just for that. I don't know where Court TV finds these idiots, but they're hardly the only ones that are platforming morons when it comes to this. I mean, like, and that includes Kevin. We shouldn't even acknowledge Kevin, but like people like him, they're like the fence sitters. Nope. You don't get to what you went hard. And let's be honest, the only reason half these people are pretending to like actually believe or pretend to believe that Karen Read is guilty is because they just don't want to be on the same side as me. That's all it comes down to. These people can't put their personal distaste with me or butthurtness or jealousy or whatever you want to call it aside for the great, to stand on the side of righteousness. It's ridiculous. So, yeah. So we're going to be talking about all that fun stuff. Anyway, socials, follow all the social media stuff. It's all in the bio below in the description. We do this every Tuesday and Saturday night, but we also do a stream on Thursday night called Turtle Club for $15 a month. $15 a month. Newports. $15 a month. You get ad free on the website, tbdailynews.com, and you get access to the Thursday night stream that nobody gets. And we had over 300 people on Turtle Club the other night, another new record. So, man, we just keep growing and growing around these parts. Yesterday was a very humbling day for me personally. I never imagined myself as the kind of person that people would want to have their picture taken with. Like, I never saw that day coming. I took like hundreds of pictures yesterday. I would never say no to anyone that ever wanted a picture, of course. And so that was just really cool. I did the Canton salute so many times. It's like my de facto pose for a picture now. I don't even like smiling. I get why they do it now. It's kind of fun. But yeah, so that was a really cool experience, just being at the courthouse and doing that. And then going to the Taunton, man, they put out a tremendous Taunton drive-in yesterday was so fun. I just want to thank Erica Madden for putting that together, and the Roccos. Man, did they do a great, and I know it was more than just them. A lot of people helped out with that. Tom DeRozier, a lot of people behind the scenes were doing their part, right, to help out as best they could with that. And it was a fantastic event, man. I had a blast there, meeting all you fine people, getting up on that truck and doing that Q&A and just talking about it. And it was just, and Cameron's brother Nathan was there, and he spoke, and that was really cool. It sounded like he was like on the verge of tears, man. Like, it was really, from the heart. So it was great stuff, man. It was great stuff. So I just want to thank everybody that came to that. And I want to thank everybody that came to the courthouse yesterday too. And even everybody watching it and supporting this from afar. Everything matters, man. So everything matters with this case. And you guys we are making a difference. I'm telling you, if you go on Court TV's comments and you just read, and we're going to be watching some of the stream tonight, and you just read the comments below that, it's like people know something's wrong here because of the protesters. There's always a couple wackos. Like when Tsarnaev got arrested, there was like some, 3 weirdos, like strange looking goth chicks that were protesting on his behalf at first, like a couple weirdos every time. But like with this is not Johnny Depp. Like, she's not a celebrity. She's just a regular person, but yet hundreds, thousands of people are showing up on her behalf to protest a criminal defendant charged with murdering a cop. And people they're not stupid. They see this and they're like, well, that alone makes like all these people can't be crazy. Like, all these people can't be blind. And that's what some of these experts were saying last night. This is a mob. And Vinnie Politan, to his credit, was just like, no. These people are actually very educated. This is not a mindless mob. It's very insulting when they say that you've joined some sort of mindless mob. You have not. You're like, people are wicked pissed about this. And it's not because of me. And it's not because I'm lying or because of the defense. It's because the facts are on our side. Because you're not stupid. Like, these are educated people who come out to this stuff and they're just sick of the bullshit, man. They're just like, are you fucking kidding me? Michael Morrissey? Michael Proctor? Like, no, you're in the mob if you automatically believe law enforcement at this point. If you automatically trust authority and the police and the district attorney's office, then you're the conspiracy theorist. Then you're in the mindless mob. We are actually the enlightened free thinkers of the world. So no, actually the tables have turned. So that's that. And yeah, like a real live troll showed up yesterday, and I looked down for a second and he was there. And I'm just like, I just ignore him. It's just like you cannot feed trolls. And we all know who the troll is. The troll doesn't get named on here. He's a fucking loser. Just an absolute loser. And I am so far above his pay grade. It's like, you don't even get shit on my show. You don't even get to get acknowledged. I see you there. You're like, and I didn't even have to do anything. I didn't have to tell anyone, take him away, nothing. Y'all did it yourselves. You're just like, you guys took care of him. I'm like, I got no use for this fucking guy. I'm not going to deal with this fucking loser. So anyway, yeah, you're very intelligent people. You're very, very intelligent people. So we're going to get to all that. So yeah. And what was I going to say here? Oh, and by the way, if anybody else would like to donate to the program, you can't do the traditional way of Super Chat because they demonetized us a long time ago, but you can do this thing. Pinned at the top of the chat is something called Turtle Chat. You click on that. You can donate whatever amount of money you want, and you get to write a message. I will read the messages out loud periodically through the show. I'm going to start with some right now. You can also cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy. I'll get the notification on my phone. All right, we're going to start. DW sends $50 and he says, I think you and Nick Rocco have a future in Q&A sessions together. He did a great job of questions. And of course, you know this case better than anyone else at this point. Also credit the crowd yesterday as expected. Handled themselves very well. Yes, they did. And we're going to talk all about it. And man, Nick was really good. Like he was like a natural up there, wasn't he? He was a natural. So it was really good to have him up there and do that. I thought that went really well. Man, they raised almost, I think it was like $18,000 when it was all said. 18 grand. 18 grand in one night. That's crazy, man. You're making a real difference. Telling you, you're on the side of righteousness. Jimmy 2 times sends $20. Says, hey, Aiden, I just wanted to let you know that you're my idol and I love you. Oh, thanks, Jimmy 2 times. But I especially love those nips. Am I beaming? I'm trying not to beam. They make me hard. I'm just a Twitter troll that attacks women because I'm too scared of men. I'll never be as good as you. Oh, you're mocking the Jimmy. There's some Twitter account. Again, I have so many trolls. It's hard to keep track of them all. I guess there's one called Jimmy 2 times. And thanks for the dono, Jimmy 2 times. Marianne sends $25 and says, so after watching you call out the raffle winners last night, Bob Odenkirk needs to play you in the movie. Got serious Better Call Saul vibes. That was a good one from like season, I think that was season 1 or 2 of Better Call Saul when he was working at the old folks' homes. And yeah, I think he ended up scamming them, didn't he? Frankie sends $5 and he says, after this case, Ellen Greenberg's case from Philly needs an activist group. Okay, I'll check that one out after this. Rose sends $10 and says, in honor of all the beautiful women in the world like Karen Reed, who have been bullied by the Jen McCabes of the world, mean girls will never win. No, they will not. And let's keep it a buck. Karen Reed is 100 times hotter than Jen McCabe. Like nobody in what high school how ugly were the kids at Canton High School where Jen McCabe gets best looking? Come on. Give me a break. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Rose. We got Dono here, $20 from Samalina. She says, nice job yesterday. I would like to know, what was your favorite part of the entire day? That's a really good question. I guess it was just overall enjoying the camaraderie of being around so many turtle riders that were just there to be part of justice. But if I were to pick any 2 parts, it would be when Karen Reed's father and brother spoke. I thought those were the 2 most powerful parts. When Karen Reed's father spoke at the courthouse steps with us, and when Karen Reed's brother spoke at the drive-in theater in Taunton. Those were both very good. Nick sends $20 and says, Vinny from Court TV was loving the mobile billboard truck. Also a shout out to Sophia Ave and Luca. Excellent. Yeah, you're right. Vinny was, and that's why we got to do the billboard truck again, because that's one of the first things people noticed. And he actually pointed out that no. Somebody was like, see, they got the truck there and this and that. It's like, Vinny's like, no, the truck had evidence on it. The truck had the Google search. That's actually an informative truck, believe it or not. So that was cool too. Any more turtle chats here? No, that's it for the turtle chats on the cash apps here. I got a couple cash apps to read. Give me one sec. All right. All right. Let's start off with Andy sends $25. No comment, but thank you, Andy. She sent that earlier, actually. Wilson sends $25 earlier, and he says, hello from Sydney. From your brother. Welcome. Sydney, Australia. How about that, Mike? Sharon sends $15 and says, for truth. Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you, Sharon. Jane sends $10 and says, for Lunchbox, Lally is a fucking joke. Oh, yes, he is. He had me cracking up yesterday. Balowney sends $25 and says, thanks for exposing the Reed story. Amazing. My pleasure, Balowney. Patricia sends 20 big ones. No comment, but thank you very much, Patricia. And we got one here from Dave. Sends $25 and says, guess what? Fuck off. I believe Paul O'Keefe said that to us yesterday. Yeah, fuck off. Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate that. That was not the answer I was expecting. I think I got a couple more here. Maybe they haven't come through. One from Nicholas, one from Paul, and one from Jess. Let me see if they came through. One sec. Here they are. Nicholas sends $91.11 and says, hashtag 911 Dr. Perp walk beat down on crooked BPD cops. Okay. Thank you very much, Nicholas. I appreciate that. Paul sends $20 and says, awesome job all around Friday. Thank you very much, Paul. And Jess sends $10 and says, Turtle, you're a true fighter. Kevin is a troll. Yeah, I mean, it's sad. I used to think he was a serious guy, but as it turns out, he's just a crazy person that turned out to be a troll, which is really unfortunate. Oh, we got one more here from Christian. Sends $20 and says, Lunchbox Lally Hair Gel Fund. Somebody gave me a gift of level 9 LA Looks hair gel yesterday. I got some really interesting gifts. There were kids there. A kid drew me a picture of a turtle, a 7-year-old kid. That was really sweet. I got a key. Somebody gave me a key. They said it would like solve something. Thank you for the key. I got some pumpkins for the kids, some cakes from Taste Great Cakes. So got a lot of cool stuff. So thank you guys all. I really appreciate that. But anyway, let's just jump right into it. We revisit that. If anyone else wants to donate, the link is at the top. You can watch it there, or you can donate there and write a message, or you can cash at me at $ Uncle Turtleboy, and I will read it that way. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to start and kind of give you my resuscitation of the day. So, you know, I stayed in Norwood the night before because I'm not dealing with the traffic, and I got up early and I got texts at like 6:30 from Turtle Riders who said they've put the yellow tape up on the stairs. We were all stood on the stairs last time. It's not a problem. They have banisters in the middle where people can just walk up. But actually, it's a nice separator. But they just wouldn't let us go on the stairs because they didn't want us there. And I didn't think they probably thought we weren't going to stay on the sidewalk. I tried going across the street. People couldn't hear me over there. So and it was like the traffic, it would have been a disaster. So I ended up staying on the sidewalk, and we made it happen. I mean, it was much more of a hazard to clog the sidewalks. Like Bukhenik had to walk through us. So it actually kind of worked out. For the best. And I got there and I asked him about it, and I said, what's up with this? Like, we have a First Amendment right to do this. And the court officer's just like, nope, it's a safety issue. And I'm like, how is it? Explain that to me. And of course he couldn't. He just got off on exercising his power because he's being a dick. And I was pretty nice to that guy last time, but he's just being a dick. And the state troopers were there, and it's just like with their hats and everything. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? There's been no violence at this. Why are there so many cops here? The other day, there was a defendant who had pled guilty to something, and he got assaulted on the way out of court after taking probation. And those threats have been going on for quite some time. And there was nobody there to watch over, like no security whatsoever, none. But with us, where there's it's a bunch of freaking regular people with their kids and shit protesting for justice. And they're treating us like we're animals. Like, it's just absolutely insane, emblematic of everything that's wrong with this story. So whatever, we do the protest, and there's a freaking helicopter from NBC overhead. There's a drone covering the whole thing. There's media everywhere. And it's such a good look for us to be out there. And again, it sends a message that like something doesn't smell right here. If you're the average viewer watching this at home, like, this is not something I see every day. There's got to be more to this. I'm going to search for this more. And yeah, but anyway, so let's, and I do wonder about challenging the constitutionality of that. If I really wanted to, like, I feel like I could challenge if I had the time and effort, like, I'm pretty sure you can't do that. You can't just be like, I'm going to cordon off the stairs. Like, don't think you can do that. Anyway, so while we're getting, we're going to watch a couple videos here of things that I encountered while I was there. Let's put it that way. Let's start with this before we get into and by the way, I love how this kid has become a meme. The middle finger kid, that kid, people just put him everywhere now. Okay. So let's start with this. So this is, I'm standing at the top of the courthouse steps here with Nathan Reed, the brother of Karen Reed, the older brother who comes to all the hearings, sits in the front row with his parents. and has been very diplomatic throughout this whole thing and kind of quiet and reserved. But he was standing with me on the stairs, and he had words for the guy who was walking in front of Paul O'Keefe. And by the way, I love how Karl Dugal hid behind the O'Keefe family. He knew he was going to get booed, so he specifically hid behind the O'Keefe family because he knew that, like, if we boo him, it's going to look like we're booing them. But no, Karl, we're just booing you. Although I don't really care for Paul O'Keefe, I have a policy of not booing him as much as I'd like to. And this loser, whoever this loser is right here, who comes all the time and sits with them. So just watch this interaction real quick. Karl did get that extra kiss. He got the extra kiss that Brett's been looking for. Got that extra kiss. All right. You're a fraud, Nelson. Oh, and then look at Paul. So here's Paul O'Keefe. This is the guy we're supposed to feel sorry for. Like, this is the victim.
Fraud, Nelson.
You asshole.
Fraud, Nelson.
The brother yells right back, fuck off. He goes, listen to him, though. Fuck you. Fuck you, asshole. And we're supposed to, like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for this guy. I'm supposed to be like, no, that guy, we have to be nice to that guy who's yelling, fuck you, asshole, at Karen's brother. Karen's a fucking victim in this. She's been put through hell. And that includes her family and her brother, who doesn't deserve to watch his little sister go through this. He probably, grew up taking care of her, looking out for her like a big brother should. And he's still doing that. And this guy's like, fuck you, asshole. No, fuck you, Paul. You fucking clown. You coward. You absolute putz. Poor John O'Keefe is looking down from heaven and shaking his head in shame at you and Karl the Cuck. And just shame on you guys. Shame on you guys. You, like, why do you even come? Why do they even come to these hearings? Like, you sit, like, do you listen? Are they listening in court? That's what I want to know. Have you processed Lucky Laughlin yet? Have you processed what that means? Have you processed the fact that an eyewitness has told me, a private investigator, FBI agents, and now the state police the same story about there being nobody on the front lawn of Fairview Road at 2:30, and that a Ford Edge, which is owned by both Colin and Brian Albert, a very specific model of car, was parked outside at 3:00 in the morning, right where the body was found a couple hours later. Have you processed that? Like, I wonder, like, because this was talked about heavily in court yesterday, and like, are they listening? Like, are they absorbing this? Dude, like, what is going through their mind when they hear this? Because they allegedly love John, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, we're here for John. So what do you think when you hear that? Because you're not stupid. I mean, Paul O'Keefe knows a thing or two about hitting people with a car. He knows what it looks like. Karl Dugal is a detective in the Boston Police Department. He can't be this stupid. They cannot be this stupid. Like, so what are they thinking when they absorb all this information in court? Like, how are they processing this? And how do they convince themselves that Karen still did it? Like, when they hear the Lucky Laughlin story, what do they tell themselves? Like, no, he's wrong. He's wrong 4 times. Every time he's told the same exact story, he's been mistaken. Like, when he says that there was no body there, well, maybe he just didn't see it. Except, no, he went one step further and said, if a body was there, I would have seen it because I've been doing this for 18 years and I look both sides of the road. So I definitely would have seen it. So, like, how do they process that? Like, what do they tell themselves? What lie do they tell themselves in order to convince themselves that, no, Karen, she still did this? How much? And you know what it comes down to? You know what I've realized? It's like, they hate Karen because of all you. Like, this crowd that they have to go through that's booing them, they blame this all on Karen. They think this is all Karen just manipulating all of us. Like, she's a master manipulator. She's a real sorceress, this one. Oh, yeah. She's a regular. She's like Jodi Arias, or like, not even, I mean, she only manipulated one dude, right? Like, Karen manipulated fucking all of us, and she didn't have to sleep with any of us, even though they accuse her of sleeping with everyone. She didn't have to sleep with anyone. And she got all of us. And that's what they think when they see these crowds. It's like, man, this bitch is good. This bitch is good. That's all. I mean, I wonder that. Like, why do you go to court? Do you listen? Do you listen to the evidence being presented to you in court? Because if this was me, if this is my brother that was killed, and I'm hearing all this, I'm like, oh, this shit needs to end. No. I'm sorry. Like, I am fucking sorry. Can we go get the people that killed my brother, please? Can we do something about that? So this is the guy that we're supposed to feel sorry for, telling Karen Reed's brother, what do you tell him?
Fraud, Nelson!
And again, fuck you, asshole. He says to him, like, this is the one Jennifer Koffendafer wants you to feel. So that guy's a victim. Oh, sure. That guy right there. Who, by the way, Nathan Reed was not yelling at him. Nathan Reed was talking to the guy in front of him. And Paul O'Keefe inserted himself into it and says, fuck you, asshole. Paul, do you realize how stupid you look? Millions of people are embarrassed for you. Some people feel sorry for you, but pretty much everyone's embarrassed for you. You're a joke, dude. You're a joke. And you're going to look so fucking stupid in due time with this. Like, and I hope you do feel stupid. I hope you feel so fucking ashamed that you never show your face at any of the upcoming trials for the actual people who killed your brother. If you show your face at any of those things, I'm going to fucking laugh at you because you're a disgrace. You are a disgrace to your brother's legacy. Shame on you. Shame on you. And stop drinking and driving. You almost killed that poor guy. And then Karl comes up. He gets the treatment too. Oh, I love how Karl does this whole, like, he does the serious thing. He's such a serious, he's like, to his credit, him and his, wife, they at least get dressed up. I'll give them that. He wears a belt, comes in so serious. I'm a serious person. I'm Karl the Cuck. I'm a real serious person. I'm here for justice for my friend. I'm not going to listen to a fucking word they say in there, but I'm a really serious person. The next cunt, and that's what she is. People don't like when I use that word. That's Meg Kennedy. She's a counselor in Stoughton, and she was Sandra Birchmore's guidance counselor who missed all the red flags. And now Sandra's dead because she was killed by a cop in Canton, which the Canton police also fucked up. So there's that. There's that. And the state police fucked that one up too. A lot of crossover with those two stories right there. So, she's not good at stuff like that.
Graceful. We're getting justice for John O'Keefe. We're here for justice for John O'Keefe, aren't we? You want justice for John? Shame on you. Shame on you.
But I'll tell you who didn't show up yesterday. And that would be Jen McCabe. So that's 2 in a row. She's done. We're going to watch her video in a little bit. But also, Carrie Roberts for the first time didn't show up. Good. And Carrie Roberts snuck up, I guess, the handicap ramp last time. Because Carrie Roberts, I've never confronted her, but I'm going to. Because she's a worthless, miserable skag who can burn in hell for all I care. And, is raising her kids in an abusive environment in which the parents just get drunk and beat the shit out of each other all the time. Trash. Carrie Roberts is trash. So she doesn't show up either. There's 10 rows in that courtroom. 8 of them are taken up by Karen Reed supporters now. They're down to 2. They used to have 5 full not too long ago. Now they're down to 2. John's family sits in the front row. And then the second row is like who I was directly across from Karl. You might have seen me looking a lot over there the whole time. I just kept looking at Karl and he straight ahead looking. He's a serious person. He's Karl the Cuck. He's a really serious person. No. Boston police detective. Really serious. And then his stupid wife there, the chinless one, sits next to him and all these other losers. And they got the balls to look at me. It's like, oh, I like staring contests. I can do this all day, sweetheart. If you want to dance, we can dance. So, but the rest of the last 3 rows are all, and it's great because they're so ashamed. The name Laura Sullivan, she's another one, didn't show up. She's the one crying in that picture. Oh my god, Sean, I met him like 5 times. And Kate, she's rubbing his shoulder. Karen Reed, what's her name, Jen McCabe's rubbing his shoulder with Ashley Brady there, and Ashley Brady's just some skag whore who cheated on her husband, maybe she was broken up with him with John. She had like a fling with him before Karen, and she hates Karen Reed because of that. So these people are all just desperate, pathetic, whore wine moms of Canton who just can't, who are trash, none of them have fucking jobs, right? Their husbands all fucking hate me, and that's fine. And they all, they hate me, but like deep down, part of them is just like, but I still, the nips. Like that's how these people think, right? They're skags. They're useless trash, these people. And they will never get this. The Franzia Club. That's the Franzia Club. Okay. So let's watch another video here of me. I escorted Trooper Bukhenik to his car. And I fucking hate this guy. I hate Bukaki. He's up there with Proctor and me now. I wasn't sure how I felt about Bukaki at first, because I'm like, maybe he's just like not that bad or like whatever. Maybe Proctor's just kind of pulling the wool over his eyes. But now that I've really seen this in its entirety, it's much more than that with Bukaki. He's just as bad as Proctor. He enables Proctor. He is Proctor's boss. He's a sergeant. And I really learned a lot by reading his interview with Lucky Laughlin, because that interview was all about him trying to get me. He talked a lot more than Proctor during that interview. And he knows, like, bottom line is Lucky Laughlin told him there's a Ford Edge parked where a dead body was found 3 hours later. And they've done nothing in over a month to find out who the driver of that Ford Edge was. Nothing. And instead they've wasted their resources coming after me. So he showed up to court yesterday, actually. And if you watch the second live stream I did, the post-court live stream, I'm walking down the steps inside the courthouse. They were not inside the hearing. I don't know where they were. They were not inside the hearing. And I'm walking down the steps, and those two clients, all of a sudden out of the clerk's office comes Bukaki and the other boss, the lieutenant, Tully. I think his name is Brian. And he comes out, and I'm like, whoa, where were you guys in court today? And then some officers like, no filming in court. I'm like, you guys are punks. I'm just not afraid of these people, fucking fake cops, because I don't view them as cops. Cops are supposed to be respectable people. Like, I do have respect for real police. I do, because they do put their lives on the line, and they, I will call 911 if I need them. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not one of these ACAB people or whatever. I don't think all cops are bastards. But they're not real cops, these people. And when I look at them, I don't see real cops. I see punk ass bitches. That's what I see. I see punks. And so I'm going to call them that. Like, I see, like, you're no better than any common ratchet selling food stamps on fucking Craigslist who have been exposing for years. You're just trash with a badge, man. That's all you bitches are. Punks. And so I kind of I kind of lost it here. If I watch this again, a little cringe on my part. I'm like, I wish I didn't swear, but I got to the meat of it. Let's watch this.
Sergeant Bukaki, are you trying to arrest me for wiretapping? Why were you talking about me during your whole interview with Lucky Laughlin? What have you done to follow up on the Ford Edge? What have you done? What have you done to follow up on that Ford Edge that Lucky Laughlin told you about? Why did you not interview?
Calling
Lucky Laughlin? Why did you not interview Lucky Laughlin, sir, until August 10th? Are you ashamed, sir? I mean, is this why you went to the academy to cover?
This is great.
Like Michael Proctor? You're Michael Proctor's bitch. That's all you are, son. You're Michael Proctor's little bitch. You're a fucking pig. You're a disgrace. You're a fucking disgrace. And these two guys here, they know it. They're looking at you right now like this guy's a fucking joke. I can't believe I have to wear the same uniform as this clown.
Watch this.
Pig. Look at you. You fucking pig. You're disgusting.
Look at that. See that? Look at that. He gave us the finger. Did you guys see he gave us the finger on the way out? That's why he's a punk. He couldn't even give us a finger to the face. He has to do that thing. He's a punk. You fake cop. You're not a real cop. Those other troopers, they might be decent, but you're not. You're a fake. You're a punk ass bitch, Bukaki. That's all you are. And you won't face me. I dare you to try to charge me. I know you'd love to charge me. You'd love to put the cuss on me, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? But you won't because you're a punk. That's all you are, Bukhenik. You're a punk. Oh, maybe maybe we know where you live in Stoughton too. Maybe we'll protest at your house too because we got the First Amendment right to do that. We got the First Amendment right to do that. So anyway, yeah, like he gives me the canned salute on the way out.
You disgust me. You loser. You loser. You freaking loser. Bukhenik loser. Bukhenik loser.
Never in my imagine like Bukhenik loser. Here we are. Okay. And then of course it wouldn't be a hearing if we didn't escort Karl to his car.
No. There's Karl Dugal. He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace to the Boston Police Department. He's a disgrace. He needs a personal escort. Look at him. Look at him. Look at that coward. He had a lot to say to Karen Reed. He had a lot to say to her on May 24th. Not so much to say now, huh, Karl? Not so much to say now, do you? There's Karl Dugal. He is a disgrace to the Boston Police Department. Karl is well aware that Karen Reed did not kill it. But Karl's feelings got hurt.
There's Meg Kennedy.
Karl's feelings got hurt because Karen didn't call him back while he was experiencing trauma. Is that true, Karl? Are your feelings still hurt? Karl, can I ask you something? Why did you keep your car at Karen Reed's house for 6 months after John was killed? Why did you do that? So you were using her, right? She was useful to you, wasn't she? She was useful to you. After she was charged with
This is true, by the way.
You know she didn't commit. You allowed your car to sit in storage at their house for the next 6 months. Why did you do that, Karl? Why didn't you go and get your car? Karl, is it true that you got John's car painted after Karen Reed backed into it? Is that true, Karl? Are you part of the Coverup, Karl? We apologize for this scumbag coming by. This guy's a horrible person. He's horrible.
It's true.
He's horrible. His wife is just as bad. Her name is Jackie Dugal. She calls herself Hit Mom. She had a lot to say to Karen Reed. She's a mean girl. She's a bully. She's a bully. She's a bad person. She's a disgrace. And Karl is a glutton for punishment. Look at him. Karl, why didn't you wear your assless chaps today? Any comment on those, Karl? On the assless chaps? No?
True. This is awesome.
What a scum! What a loser! What a loser! Loser!
That was like a mean girl.
What a loser! Disgraceful, Karl!
That wasn't Meg next to Karl? Who is that one? Who is she? Who is she?
John O'Keefe. John O'Keefe is looking down from heaven at you and shaking his head. He is shaking his head. John deserved a better friend than you. Here's his old man car. Here's the old man car. There he goes.
He does drive an old man. I got to get the extra kiss. Look how mad people are. This is genuine anger.
He's a disgrace.
This is not a mindless mob. These people know the facts of the case. You're a douchebag. You're a douchebag.
Not so much to say now. Why do you do this to yourself, Karl? Why do you do this to yourself? Are you a glutton for punishment, Karl?
He is.
It's gonna be like this. Oh, she's taping us. She's taping
I love when Jackie tapes us on the way out.
Oh, loser! What a loser! That's called. John deserved better friends than that. What a poor John. Poor John. He must be looking down from heaven and just shaking his head.
Oh my God.
Just shaking his head in embarrassment for Karl, who is sitting there with the people who murdered
I gotta
him.
get the extra kiss
What an
video.
absolute
Somebody sent it to me
disgrace. John
earlier.
deserved better friends than that.
I gotta find it.
He deserved better supporters
Oh
than
my
that.
God, I'm getting
It's really,
upset
really
about this.
sad. It's sad. So he had one person in his life who actually gave a shit about him. Her name was Karen Reed, and we're never going to stop fighting for her.
Oh. Oh yeah, for justice. Okay. All right. So I got a couple pictures here I want to show you. I actually found a real estate trooper. You guys want to see a real trooper? I'll show you a real trooper. Hold on. Yeah, the Crown Vic, dude. I found. You guys want to see a real trooper? I found one. Look at. I'm a trooper now too. I'm a trooper now too. Look at even. I'm as much of a trooper. I'm about as much of a trooper as you're a Bukhenik. Like let's keep it real. I'm way more of a trooper than Michael Proctor. I put on a uniform one time. That's it. It was a little too small for me. From another fake trooper. I used to wear this same uniform. Oh, I'm a trooper now too. I can play dress up. I'm Trooper Daddy. Trooper Daddy right there. Coming at you. Coming at you. Oh, the people that know the story beyond this, it's kind of funny how I ended up in this uniform. But I did. It's mine now. I'm the trooper now. I got to find the extra. We'll get to the court stuff in 1 second. Do we have the extra kiss one? Hold on. I got to find. It was sent to me. Hold on 1 second. I'll bring it up. You got to see the extra kiss when they leave. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. Like, oh, this is so cringe. Oh my God, this is so cringe. Check this out. She gave him the extra kiss. She goes to get in the car. Oh, they kiss. Look at him. Oh, he turns away. This is just so forced. The same woman she starts filming us when she gets in the car, but she kisses him on the way in. It's just so, there's no way you do that every time you get in a car. Kisses him like, I'm so proud of you, Karl, for being the good cuck you are. And Karl's like, I got a good kiss on the, I got an extra kiss. I got an extra kiss. Look at me. I'm a good husband. Yeah, I'll be in your videos. I'll do your freaking Herbalife videos or whatever you're selling now. Sure thing. Okay, Jackie. I'm a good husband. Oh, what a loser. What an absolute loser. Okay. I'm going to read, I'm going to go and watch. I'm going to bring up soon the actual court proceedings in a minute, but let me bang through some turtle chats here because we got a few coming in here. All right. First one up is hot dog water. There was a turtle rider there I met yesterday by the name of Kyle. He's been a regular around here for quite some time. He said that Richie smelled like hot dog water, which is just, because it's such a distinct smell. We all know what it smells like, and I can picture him smelling like that. I can totally picture him smelling like that. So hot dog water sends $10 and says, Trollhomio, this is for Trollhomio's popcorn when the Netflix or Hulu documentary comes out. Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. He's gonna have to retire. He said he was gonna retire. We'll see if he sticks to it. Just Me in Canton sends $15 and says, all the women on the Albert side are truly the mean girls grown up. Absolutely. Mean to other adults and mean to the kids of the parents they don't like. Canton is ruled by vicious townies. Now, Canton was ruled by vicious townies. I'm the mayor of Canton now. Canton is ruled by me now. So it used to be ruled by vicious townies. Now it's ruled by Daddy. Daddy Turtleboy's in charge. He's the mayor. And that's the end of that. So thank you, Just Me Again. And that sends $10 and says, your expressions in court were so entertaining. The quote of the day was Nathan Reed's, wake up. Also, who's that beautiful man sitting next to you? That's my court buddy, Adam. He's Nathan's buddy. They've known each other for a long time, but he comes to every court hearing and we always sit next to each other. And I said to him yesterday, I'm like, I think this is the last time we're going to be sitting next to each other in this courthouse. I think the next time I'm going to see you is going to be at Moakley Courthouse. I hope so. I certainly hope so. But I like to think positive. So thank you, Annette. Meredith sends $20 and says, how mentally broken down was Lunchbox's face when Attorney Little read the correspondence log between him and the lab? Unfortunately, I couldn't see his face because the way he sits up there, like at the front of the class, like the loser kid, and Attorney Little is just roasting him with facts. And by the way, it's just like, talk about presentation. Like her lawyers looked good yesterday. Like, and I don't mean that in a sexist way, because I'm saying it about the guys too. Like they look sharp, don't they? The way Alan Jackson does this thing a lot, where he just goes, he holds his one arm like this. He's got his suit on, his nicely tailored suit, right, with the watch. And he does this thing a lot where he just holds his one arm like this. He talks like this, but there's just something about it that looks like he's like in control. You know, he just looks sharp. And David Unetti, when he gets up there, is just so polished and to the point and professional. And Liza Little yesterday, she's more soft-spoken than the others, but she gets to the point, man, and she hits it hard when you actually listen to the content of what she's saying. And she looked great yesterday. Hey, I look good. Like everybody looked good yesterday. And I think that the presentation matters because then Lunchbox Lally gets up there. Is he wearing sneakers? Does he wear sneakers to court? And the way he comes in with his goddamn 5 freaking manila folders, like, dude, oh. Anyway, thank you, Meredith. So I didn't see his face. MJ sends $20 and says, I've got balls. Oh, I've got big balls. And they're such big balls. Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Cheryl sends $30 and says, we appreciate your tireless, unwavering support of Karen Reed. We loved meeting you last night, the middle-aged grandmas. Oh, I loved meeting the middle-aged grandmas that introduced themselves as that yesterday. That was cool. I met a lot of really cool, interesting people last night. Thank you, middle-aged grandmas. Lisa sends $20 and says, thank you, Aiden. You have an open invite to coffee, dinner. Heck, the waterfall on me. Lisa Desmond. Oh, Lisa, from Dedham. That's the Christmas tree lady that took all that shit last year for trying to keep the Christmas tree up because of those crazy lezzies didn't want it up. But we won that one, didn't we? We won that one. Suzanne sends $25. No comment, but thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate it. Jennifer sends $26 and says, I'm glad you are using your charisma for good. Karen is lucky to have you. I'm glad you think I have charisma. Thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. Joelle sends $50 and says, Dr. Daddy, you were phenomenal yesterday. You definitely made Karen Reed and her family feel very welcome and happy. Karen, if you're watching, I'm sure she is. We love you and we have your back 1000%. We won't stop until you're free. I know John O'Keefe is looking down and thanking you, Aiden. Don't forget the 22nd. Is that Chrissy Yakamowski's hearing? Oh, God, I hope it is. I need to go to that as well. So thank you. Kristen sends $24 and says, love the front page of the Boston Herald today. Yeah, our protest was on the front page of the Herald. Great to see. And please shout out to Mia and Aria here watching with me, learning about the case. Welcome, Mia and Aria. I hope you learn a lot about this case tonight. Carrie sends $5 and says, start a sweatshirt fund because it was cold for just a t-shirt. No, I was good. You know, I was good in the t-shirt. I liked it. So I'm one of those people that, like, the second you put on the sweatshirt for the first time, you are succumbing and you are surrendering to the fall. And I refuse to do that. I hold on to summer for as long as it lasts. I'm one of those people. Like, I just refuse to do it. I will not put on a pair of pants unless I'm, like, you know, getting dressed up for court or something like that. Until then. All right. Some more donos in the Cash App. Got to bang through here. Laura Pike sends $2.27 and says, for horse faces dental paste. All right. Thank you. Jody sends $10 and says, for Karen Reed. Thank you very much. Victoria sends $50 and says, hey, Lally, guess what? Shut the fuck up. Oh my God. I would have loved to told him that yesterday. Thank you, Victoria. Jacqueline sends $20 and says, justice for Karen Reed and John O'Keefe. Love, Jacqueline and Kim. Thank you very much, Jacqueline and Kim. Jacob sends $10. No comment, but appreciate that, Jacob. And he sends another $5 and he says, Kevin Albert has a Ford Edge on video, 2:30 to 3:30. I mean, is that true? Is that true? Is that true? I don't know. But, you know, I did make a visit to someone's house yesterday because I had some people have said that about Kevin's. I have no evidence that Kevin Albert owns a Ford Edge. I would like to look into that, I suppose. But I did hear that someone else very close to them owns a Ford Edge as well. And what is with these people in a Ford Edge? What is special about that freaking vehicle? I don't know. Anyway, so I went to, I did make a trip yesterday because I had a lot of downtime between, 12 and 6. And so I drove all around that area, actually. I went to, did some reconnaissance over in the Medfield, Norfolk area. And then I went to Easton. I went to Easton for something. And you'll find out what that is later. Because somebody, and I know they're watching right now. And I'm going to be very clear about this. I came to your house yesterday. and I knocked on your door and I heard the dog. So let's just put it that way. So we got more coming on that. So thank you very much. Okay. Also up here, we have Rosie sends $5 and says, great work, Dr. Turtleboy. Thank you, Rosie. Peanut Rose sends $4.44 and says, Chris wife must be Tiffany Gomez, the crazy plane lady. Okay. And okay. All right. So thank you guys for that. Do we have anything else here? One sec. Getting more pictures. Okay. A couple more turtle chats here. Kristen sends $10 and says, thanks for signing my book yesterday at the drive-in, but it's not a stupid book. That was just I don't know what to say when people ask me to sign the book. I write, thanks for buying my stupid book. I don't know what else to say. Thanks. And I love you. But she goes, but it's not a stupid book. Your story is a great one. You will need to edit that next time I see you. All right. I will. Sorry. Yesterday was a great day for Karen and all her supporters. We won't stop. No, we will not, Kristen. We ain't got no quit. Mary sends $25 and says, Yannetti had a complete mic drop when he got up and said, oh, by the way, Colin Albert also owns a Ford Edge. Karen's lawyers were on fire. Yes, they were. So on that note, we're going to watch some of the hearing and some of these mic drop moments. If anyone else wants to donate, the link to the Cash App is pinned. I've been linked to the Turtle Chat is linked to the top. You can donate whatever you want. Leave a message. I will get that in my inbox and I will read the message out loud to the class. Also, shout out to all the Rumble rats over there, all 469 of you watching on Rumble. Make sure you subscribe to our Rumble channel as well, because YouTube likes to kick us off a lot and suspend us. Did I lose the stream? Am I still here? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Did I lose you? I don't see myself over here on the thing. Hold on. I froze. Hold on. I might have to refresh. Let me try to get in again on StreamYard. Hold on. People are blowing up my notifications right now. Frozen video. Okay, I'm frozen. So I do have audio. Let me enter studio. Can I bring these? Hey. Okay. Out of this one. Am I live over here? Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. I think we're good now. Excellent. Okay. So let's talk about the actual here. That's how I froze. That's weird. Okay. People are blowing up. Let me bring up the video. All right. So some people were like yesterday in the comments on the community page, when she comes in, when Auntie Bev comes in, this is what I do. And I make no apologies for this. All rise. It's like, so as you can see, I don't rise. And some people are like, you're going to get kicked out for that. You're going to get kicked out for that. I've done this every hearing. I don't stand for tyrants. And that's what she is. Like, you're the honorable, says who? Like, respect is earned, motherfucker. There's no law that says you have to stand up for the judge. Oh, well, she can. First of all, the beauty of this is she has no control over her courtroom. That's one thing. She's like the substitute teacher. Her courtroom is out of control. Like, we all should have been kicked out several times yesterday. Clapping, cheering, laughing. She can't get the Zoom under control. All that shit. And yeah, I was the only one sitting, but that's fine. That's kind of emblematic of who I am. I'm a dissenter, right? I'm a dissenter. So let's listen to some audio here. Hold on. Why is it so quiet? Can you guys see? Okay.
NBC, ABC, alarm.com. Is that what the court's talking about, or the?
Why is she so quiet?
Right. Not completely, as it relates to the town clerk.
This is how it was the whole time?
As it relates to Google Nest and Google, we have no issue. As it relates to NBC and
And by the way, this guy was like standing there the whole time, like blocking me. I swear to God, it was on purpose because he knows that like this area gets on TV and he did not want me getting on TV. And that's fine. And by the way, so basically what they start off with is the ABC, NBC thing. And basically Alan Jackson's like, we don't oppose this because you're trying to get the entire tape of Dateline in 2020 from NBC and ABC. I am not NBC. I am not Disney. I'm not ABC. So I can't help you with that. It also looks like you apparently didn't send it to them because I've talked to my contacts at NBC and they haven't gotten anything, and you can have it. By the way, like they're not going to oppose it. Dummies. Like, I love how they think they got her here. Like, we got her. It's like, do you think that they're going to let her go on NBC and ABC if they're not 100% confident in their client, that she's not going to say anything stupid to incriminate herself? This is what innocent people do, by the way. Innocent people don't hide. They talk, right? They come out. They defend themselves. That's how you know she's innocent and Brian Albert isn't. And Colin Albert isn't. And Jennifer McCabe isn't. Because she's happy to talk. So they think that there's just some thing on there that they can use. But good luck with that. I mean, this is what is it called? Fishing expedition, I believe they call it. Yeah. All right. So this is
ABC. I have no issue with alarm.com.
Oh, look at this guy. I mean, look at his presentation, the way he stands. Look at him. Like he's like standing in front of the class, reading a book report with his shoes. And it's just like, he looks like such a fucking joke, doesn't he? Okay.
Material to the defense, and it should be material to the prosecution, I would think. It should be material.
I have a proposed order from the Commonwealth, so I don't know that there is that much of an opposition to
There may
this.
not be, but there may be an opposition from, sounds like Mr. Henning has some things to say as well, and so my comments are directed as much to.
And this is all Greg Henning.
On behalf of the homeowner.
This is Brian Albert's attorney. This is Greg Henning. So after they do the NBC and ABC and thing and they don't contest it, then they move on to the Google Nest thing, right? Remember, Brian Albert owns. Pete, what's Deb texting me about? Usually it's like 20 minutes or so the audio gets better. Okay, cool. Brian Albert, the homeowner, owned a Google Nest camera. We found out. And Adam Lowley coached him during the grand jury testimony to tell a grand juror who asked about it that he didn't know, like, that he got it for Christmas and that he never installed it. Right. So let's find out. And so this is Greg Henning speaking on behalf of Brian Albert for some reason, who doesn't want to just hand it over.
With the proposed order that the Commonwealth submitted in mind, that language, Mr. Albert, the homeowner, has no objection to the rule set.
Thank you. All right, I'll hear you now, Mr. Jackson. I don't know.
It looks like there's not going to be a fight over the Google Nest camera. So that's good.
Got it. Did you hear Mr. Henning?
I think I heard him say
For a period of time than you requested.
She gets sassy
more
with him here
expensive than what you requested.
about it's more expansive than like she tries to like outwit him here, and she's like, no, they're actually giving you more of the Google Nest than you asked for. I don't even know anything about this, but I guarantee that Judge Cannone did not outsmart Alan Jackson. I'm quite sure of that.
Video footage, the Commonwealth would be seeking that to expand beyond the police response and everything else that's been taken issue with over the course of this case. So the only differences between the Commonwealth's proposed order and the defendant's proposed order is number one, excising any sort of other Google account information.
And I think Mr. Jackson just said he didn't have an objection to that. All right.
That and expanding the time frame.
Okay.
The only wording that was changed on under number one that we have an issue with is again, we believe it shouldn't be prior to, but inclusive of January 29th.
Okay. So this is blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the good stuff.
All right. I'll hear the Commonwealth.
The breathing.
Do you want to start with, I have.
He's already bored.
ABC News one. Why don't I hear you on that?
Just, it makes no difference to myself, Your Honor, but there's also another related motion to that camera.
Which is one, to the camera one?
Oh, this guy.
Yes, from the House indictment. It's a motion to compel, to preserve, and
okay, yeah.
request for order production.
I don't believe I have that.
He forgot his homework.
Same time as all of the others.
It could, I mean, I just have copies, so it could be that it was.
Okay, sure thing.
So, Jim, it's probably somewhere around 121, maybe 123. Is there an objection to this from the defense?
Oh, God. No, we don't give a shit.
Raw or unused or unaired video footage of interviews, specifically with the defendant herself.
Yeah, we want the video.
Submitted herself to interviews with multiple news programs.
Oh, they're still talking about NBC?
The content.
And that's David Yanetti's sister, by the way.
Woven within a narrative story, which the Commonwealth would submit as a fair inference that there's additional footage that is available. In specific reference to the NBC, there's an indication from the broadcast that this is part of a larger program.
There's indications from the broadcast that this is part of a larger program. Yeah, no shit. No shit, Sherlock. You saw a 10-minute I love how he thinks they outsmarted him with, they thought they could fool us. That's all that NBC sent us. But I bet there's more. Yeah, sure. They haven't aired it yet because it's their content and they own it. You don't get it just because you want it.
To air at a future date.
Okay. So this is stupid. Yeah, she makes him go to the microphone.
That microphone's going to pick this up.
It will just be closer to it.
Sorry about that.
But yet, Lunchbox doesn't answer.
Objection to Rule 7. I just don't know because when I did check.
Okay, there's him with his manila.
Okay, so we'll hear the motion.
Reasons, but
we'll do the motion to compel first.
Okay, so then Liza Little gets up, and now it's our turn to talk about all the evidence that hasn't been handed
over. So
when
this motion response that then maybe limits some of what you have there, and then I've got your
sort of outstanding categories of evidence that we still have not received. I did receive a packet of information today, but I'll go through that for the court.
Okay, go ahead. So let's do what you address in your reply.
Thank you, Your Honor. It has now been 1.5 years since Ms. Reed was arraigned in Norfolk Superior Court. 1.5 years, and the defense still has not been allowed to so much as look at the physical evidence that the Commonwealth has had in its possession for 21 months.
Not good.
It has so desperately withheld from the defense out of fear of what it might show.
Oh, yep,
That
exactly.
is
Give it to him.
unacceptable. That is unconstitutional.
Ooh.
And that clearly violates the mandatory discovery provisions set forth in Rule 14.
Yep, give it to him.
As I informed the court, there are 5 categories of mandatory discovery that continue to be withheld by the Commonwealth.
Let's hear them.
And I'd like to go through those in turn.
Let's hear them.
There are first 56 items of physical evidence that we have been unable to view, unable to independently test.
52?
Are these the items that are at the lab for testing still?
That's correct, Your Honor. It includes all of the taillight pieces, all of Mr. O'Keefe's clothing, and all samples taken from Mr. O'Keefe's clothing and person. This is the seminal evidence in this case. Your Honor, this is not a complex legal issue. The United States Constitution, the Massachusetts Declaration of Rights, and Rule 14 all require that Ms. Reed be permitted to inspect and independently test this evidence. Rule 14 could not be more clear. Quote, the prosecution shall disclose to the defense and permit the defense to discover, inspect, and copy material and relevant tangible objects at or prior to the pretrial conference. Our first pretrial conference was on August 12, 2022.
Long time ago.
The compliance date for mandatory defense access to this physical evidence was more than a year ago. In opposing this motion, as Your Honor noted, the Commonwealth has tried to excuse its blatant discovery violations by claiming lab protocols and procedures simply won't allow us to access this evidence.
I love that. Protocols
and procedures are of no legal moment, Your
Yes,
Honor.
give it to them.
They don't trump the law.
No, they don't. Or the Constitution.
In fact, Rule 14 actually contemplated that this might be an excuse that the
I did it.
Commonwealth gave.
I did it.
It specifically says it doesn't matter if the physical evidence is not in the physical, actual, tangible possession of the Commonwealth. If that evidence is in the possession of any agency who participated in investigating and evaluating the case and reports to the prosecutor, which clearly the Massachusetts State Police Lab does, then discovery is mandatory.
Yeah, like basically give us all your
That's
shit.
Rule 14.
So she does a really good job here of just outlining all of the things that they're not getting from the Commonwealth and all of the lies and all of the excuses and the emails and the back and forth that we went over in the earlier blog. I believe on like Thursday or Friday or Thursday or Wednesday, we published a blog about this, all of the evidence and just reading Lally's emails about why he's not handing shit over is maddening. They've been doing this the entire time. His clothing, the taillight, all this shit. They always have an excuse. Oh, the lab's getting back to us. Like they're just delaying. And this is a woman who has a right to look at the evidence that is being used against her in a murder trial. And they're just not showing it. So she absolutely has a right to look to it. So like, this might seem like, it's not as sexy as the other stuff, the content of what she's talking about, but it's really important. And it violates, and they hide behind like Mass State Police Crime Lab policies, which do not trump the United States Constitution. And it's like, you need to be reminded of that.
From what I'm told, is that their analysis and report should be complete within the next 30 to 60 days.
30 to 60 days.
Those were Mr. Lally's words in February.
Oh, that's way more than 30 to
And my
60.
guess is that's what he's going to say today.
Oh, she called it.
But what is disturbing about those representations is that the crime lab actually keeps track of their communications with Mr. Lally.
Oh, really?
And when you review the crime lab conversation log, which was produced to us in Discovery about a month ago, this is what you see. Quote, note to file, date January 3rd, 2023. Entry by John Buello.
Who's
Person
that?
contacted, ADA Lally.
Ooh.
Note, quote, emailed Commonwealth prosecutor on 11/21/2022 about the status of testing. No response back.
Oh.
Therefore, the trace items will not be tested at this time. If for any reason testing is needed, the items can be resubmitted to the lab for potential analysis.
Yeah, shake your
Trace
head.
assignment closed, no report.
That's insane. That's insane. Like she's got emails showing that the lab is emailing Lally being like, yo, do you want us to test this shit? And Lally just doesn't get back to them. So all this shit, Lally's blaming the lab, and the lab's like, yo, we're ready to rock. We're ready to test this whenever you want to test it. And he just ignores them. And then he's like, the lab has 30 to 60. It's like, dude, you're just fucking bad at it, man. You're the kid that forgot your homework every day. You're a C student, Lally.
And what you also see is that between January 3rd, 2023, which is the date of that entry, and the date the Massachusetts State Police Lab apparently closed this case, and February 8th, which is the date that Mr. Lally stood here in court and made those representations that he was so desperately trying to expedite testing, there is not a single record of communication between Mr. Lally and the lab that's contained in that conversation.
Ooh, not one.
That's not Mr. Lally's hands being tied by lab protocols and lab procedures. In fact, the assignment was closed because he failed to answer his emails. That is deception, Your Honor. So when the Commonwealth stands up and says that the defense can have access to the physical evidence in 30 or 60 days, that's not good enough.
Yes.
We need court intervention.
Yes, we need you to do your fucking job.
To order
Yes.
the Commonwealth immediately.
Yes.
Provide us access to these critical items of evidence and set a date for compliance.
Does she even do that?
That's what the law requires. That brings me to the second category of evidence that we're missing. Your Honor, for quite some time, we've been asking for access to the Lexus infotainment system and the Lexus telematics system. As of this morning, our expert was able to get in touch with Trooper Garino, and they're currently working on coordinating a time to hopefully analyze that evidence.
Okay.
I'm hopeful that the Commonwealth will be forthcoming and allow us to
they're not.
our own
They're not.
analysis.
Yes,
Court
sir.
is aware, it was filed with our papers. Law enforcement was ordered to preserve all handwritten notes.
Yeah, how about those
taken
notes?
in connection with this case.
Yeah, what about
That was done in Stoughton District Court on February 2nd,
Ah,
2022. And I
you can tell she's not from here. She called
answer to this question.
She called
Those
it
statements.
provide us
She called it stout. She called it Stoughton. It's Stoughton. So give her a break. She's from California.
asking for the court to immediately set a compliance date and
Yeah.
mapping documenting the recovery of evidence.
Yeah, where's that map?
From the Albert residence. This information should have been produced over a year
Yeah,
ago.
you know, when we asked for it.
If you were to review all of the police reports in this case, as we've done, then you might mistakenly believe that there were only 2 searches of the lawn of 34 Fairview Road.
Oh, really?
That resulted in the recovery of tail.
How many pieces? How many were there?
Those searches were on January 29th at 5:45 p.m. by the CERT team. And there was a second search on February 3rd, 2022.
I know.
But
It's,
those reports
it's true.
are
It's
not
true.
complete.
Oh, really?
Because according to photographs of the evidence bags in this case, which we just received on July 25th, Trooper Proctor claims to have actually recovered taillight pieces over the course of 5 additional undocumented
That's me looking at
searches
Karl.
of
I'm looking
Albert
at Karl
residents
there.
throughout the month of February. The only reason we even know about these searches is because when Trooper Proctor logged these pieces into evidence, he had to write his name, the date, and
Oh.
the place those pieces of taillight were supposedly found.
Look at the faces over here.
34 Fairview. That's 5 undocumented searches, Your Honor. We don't have a police report for any of those.
Wow.
No notes, no reports, no photographs of where those taillight pieces were found in the yard. No memorialization of the individuals who called Trooper Proctor to the scene. That is not acceptable. If this information exists, we're entitled to it. We need a short compliance date for the production of these notes and reports so that we can at least attempt to.
Yeah, you need to get your shit together. I mean, he's just going. Proctor went back to the house 5 times on his own and didn't record it and didn't put it in any of his reports. And every time he found more taillight, if he even went there, let's be honest, he could just put it in a bag and say he went there. I highly doubt he even went there.
To prevent further fabrication.
He's
of
the taillight whisperer.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lally?
He's like, I ain't done yet. She's like,
I'm not quite done.
Yes.
You said there were 5.
Yeah.
I was going to have a conclusion if I
Okay.
finish addressing the court. Thank
Sure.
you. Your
Like,
Honor,
she's just such
we
a
are entitled to this discovery and we need compliance deadlines. Ms. Reed has a constitutional right to a speedy trial and to prepare and present her defense. The law is clear that Ms. Reed was supposed to have access to all of the requested information in August of last year.
Yes, give it to us. All right,
Respectfully.
lunchbox time. Here we goes again. Watch this. Here we go again.
Most of what I believe
Watch this.
was just addressed was
This
dealt
happens
with in
every
Commonwealth's,
fucking hearing.
response.
Sure, he's speaking in a microphone right in front of him, but if you can't hear him, can you go over to the podium, please?
Oh, she's just such a cunt. He's speaking in a microphone right in front of him. But if it's hard, it's just like she always has to throw that little jab in there. Well, she has a microphone. Bitch, we go through this every hearing, every fucking hearing. Like he should have to stand up at that goddamn podium too. the same podium. The way this courtroom is set up is a freaking joke, an absolute joke. And it's just like, why do you not just tell them to go there to begin with? You know this is an issue because you have no control of your courtroom. It's like, this is a guaranteed to happen every single time. Oh, he's got to bring his manila folder with him. There he goes.
Your Honor, I believe most of this I've addressed in the Commonwealth's response, and just to be clear, it's not an opposition to
I know,
the defendant's
it's
motion.
horrible.
The Commonwealth is well aware of its discovery obligations under Rule 14. It does not oppose the defendant having access to these items. It's merely an issue of timing. Now, as it pertains
oh my
to,
God, look at him reading off his paper.
Enumerated item, and there's been
oh my God, oh my
what I would
God,
say is that
oh my God.
The Commonwealth is very aware of its ongoing obligations under Rule 14A1A, under Rule 14A4, as it pertains to mandatory reciprocal discovery and exculpatory evidence, and has provided counsel for the defendant with close to 300 items of discovery at this point. So this is not a situation in which the Commonwealth is, I would submit, withholding evidence or preventing the defendant from doing any, receiving any discovery. As soon as the Commonwealth receives it, it's provided to counsel. There was somewhat of an issue at some point over the history of this case where I had been providing discovery to Mr. Yannetti that apparently wasn't making its way to either Ms. Little or Mr. Jackson. My remedy for that has been to provide whatever I can, especially documentary evidence and attachments to email, so that it goes to all counsel and all counsel have access to it, which caused some of the delay as far as the testing in the lab.
Listen to this motherfucker talk.
In the first place, the lab was prepared to conduct its initial DNA testing back in May, had to wait until July, and then there was a second subsequent exhaustive testing, which wasn't conducted until August 1st because of the timing in which we received the exhaustive authorization form from counsel. What I can say is Ms. Little and Mr. Jackson were very good as far as soon as they were made aware of the issue, they executed the forms. I received them, forwarded them to the lab the same day. But unfortunately, all of the DNA testing was not able to be completed on that July date because of how late we received.
Like, good. Can he not be like? How is he a lawyer?
As far as the items that are contained at the lab, again, these are the lab's policies. They're not my policies. There's nothing as far.
These are the labs. Like, this is how he addresses it. Like, she just got up there and pointed out, dude, that you lied about the lab shit. The lab has had the shit and asked if you want it tested, and you just don't get back to them. And it doesn't matter. What part of this aren't you understanding? It doesn't matter what the lab policies are. If it violates the United States Constitution, which it does. So you have to disregard, but that's not even the lab policy. They want to test it. You're just not getting back to them, and it's intentional. It's clearly intentional.
Or as anything that the district attorney's office or myself has done, any suggestion that we're desperately withholding evidence from the defense, defense as we're afraid of what it might show is just patently ridiculous.
Well, how so? How?
Items that are at the lab there's no objection to counsel swabbing anything from any of those samples, inspecting them, photographing them, doing whatever they would like.
So why don't you do it?
The issue is when the lab is done. And as I detailed in the motion, was a recent trace assignment that was completed, not recent, but several months ago, actually. And it had to do with item 3-1 and several other items.
Oh my God.
The taillight. And so 3-1 is the
this fucking guy.
Rear tail light of the defendant's SUV.
Okay, so why haven't you tested that?
7-5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
19,
Okay.
Pieces that were recovered from the area where Mr. O'Keefe's body was discovered. In front of 34 Fairview Road.
Leah got it.
Those were subject to
this right here,
analysis in which they were
oh my God,
fitted back together with items.
And Leah's comment really says it all right there, right? The fact that she doesn't interrupt him and call him out is the real issue here. This woman has no control over her courtroom. It's like, is she even hearing all of this? Is she hearing all this evidence? Does she give a shit? Does she even want to be there? She certainly wants to be, because she made a point to insert herself into a case in which she's no longer the presiding justice. But it's just like, The fact that she doesn't say, dude, what about the emails? She says, do you have any response to that? We know that you say this every fucking time. Liza Little specifically said we need court intervention. And this is the opposite of that. This is the same old bullshit over and over again.
3-1, which was the actual unit from the defendant's SUV. That was believed to be done. So the lab at that point had made a forensic link and was believed to have been done with testing related to that. Subsequent to that.
Oh my God, he loves saying subsequent. He loves saying subsequent.
Based on some additional testing in relation to item 7-18.18. And that essentially was microscopic pieces. And when I say microscopic, they measure approximately, probably less than 1/16 of an inch of.
How the fuck is that microscopic? 1/16 of an inch? That's the size of Lally's Johnson, I'm pretty sure. 1/16 of an inch is not micro. I can see 1/16 of an inch. Okay. It's not microscopic. It's not brain surgery. Proctor smashed it up and threw it on his clothes because he's the freaking taillight whisperer. It's not brain surgery. And you're right, dude. Hair gel isn't fixing this thing. The enemy has they've taken over this land. It's like Russia invading Ukraine. This is the Donbas. You're not getting that back. You better just seek a peace treaty. It's over. Stop her with the hair gel. Just shave your head and move on.
Clear and red plastic pieces that were recovered from the victim, Mr. O'Keefe's clothing, specifically his shirt. Based on that discovery or analysis, there was then a subsequent trace assignment that was created in relation to comparative testing for those microscopic pieces to item 3-1.
Oh my God.
Again, an item that the lab had theretofore thought that they had completed with. There's also an ongoing trace assignment for comparative purposes to some glass that was recovered from the rear bumper of the defendant's vehicle, comparing it to pieces of what they described in the lab notes as a cocktail glass that's found on the ground.
Oh, for fuck's sake,
near
the
Mr.
cocktail
O'Keefe
glass.
and near Mr. O'Keefe's shoe. Of note, what I would say is that Mr. O'Keefe is observed leaving the waterfall bar last time that he's on video, carrying a short cocktail glass in his right hand.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
As he's leaving from that facility. So that trace assignment is open. The DNA results from the July testing has been completed and provided to counsel.
Look at her brother. He's just like, oh my God. Look at the faces. Look at the faces.
And again,
everyone there wants to die.
These are estimations based on what the lab can tell me as far as their expectation of when items will be completed. But the DNA testing I anticipate should be completed on or around September 26th. Those two trace assignments should be completed sometime in the last week of October. And there is additional DNA testing that has just been scheduled to be undergone shortly.
Oh my God.
This
even like just look at his presentation. Like, oh my God.
As far as whatever the court deems appropriate to impose, obviously the Commonwealth will comply with that. We'll make arrangements with the lab.
That's bullshit.
They do not allow outside personnel into the lab, so it would be a situation where obviously items that are currently undergoing testing are not going to be taken back from the lab. But if there are any items that have no forensic value left to the lab, once this sort of round of testing is
completed, my God,
we will certainly pick those items up and make them available for counsel. But or either they do or they don't. But basically,
this guy's still talking. How long does he talk for?
Knowing what
this goes on till
of the testing that's just undergone. And
okay, okay, we can't do. I can't do it anymore.
Interested in doing again. I spoke to Ms. Little a little bit about this. That the Commonwealth certainly is not going to conduct any of that testing without them having an expert present to do any sort of chip off or any kind of destructive testing whatsoever. But if that is something that counsel is interested in, I would encourage counsel to file a motion.
Oh my God!
The X file that I just received yesterday from the CERT team, and that's why I'm providing it today.
Okay, I can't do it.
Logs and ALV data as far as
oh my God! Oh God!
Providing those in short order. That's something that I've heard of the first time today. Well,
oh God!
Formally, informally, whether by formal motion or not, the Commonwealth has no.
Okay. Motion of the ocean. Okay.
Ms. Little, any
she gets to respond. Yes, I have quite something to say.
Immediate DNA testing. I just want to clarify for the court. I did review his opposition. There are only 2 items that are still subject to comparative testing. So we're asking that the rest of the items of evidence be made available to us immediately. There's no reason to continue to withhold those from the defense. As to the Lexus infotainment system and the telematics system and the EDR, as Your Honor can imagine, it's quite expensive to fly an expert from out of state to go look and interpret this data. We're trying to avoid having to do multiple trips of that.
Right.
So while I understand the air system have no recoverable data and of this, he seems to be receptive to doing that.
Okay.
She won't know until she actually looks at it and received from the Commonwealth.
So you say that your expert is talking to the Commonwealth's expert today or yesterday?
Yes, I believe actually this morning is when I
Okay,
received
so
the
after they talk, if you put in writing to me a protocol that you say your expert says there's hundreds of other methods of being
Because so basically I couldn't listen to Lally the whole time. He basically says this burla thing. This is his new word he's going to use all the time. Well, the burla couldn't get back to us in time. And as she pointed out, like burla is apparently for the Lexus infotainment system, which would show the movements of the car. It's like Celebrate. It's software that extracts data from it and spits out a report. Well, there's apparently alternatives to burla. Like there's 50 other ways that you can do it. So he's blaming it on like the burla report will take a long time and blah, blah, blah. She's like, there's actually like 50 other ways that you can do it, Lally. And it's just it's just like everything he says has to be a fight because everything is a lie. Everything is dishonest. Go on.
able to read this data, put something in writing. It sounds like the two experts should be able to work it out.
Yeah,
if
they
not,
should.
we'll deal with that, but I do want to know about that.
That's my hope. Thank you, Your Honor. Reports on this. And
Availability, and second, not having the exhaustive testing form completed. The second that I was referring to in late October is in regard to two separate trace comparison analysis. That's sort of the estimated time of those reports.
Oh, God.
That has just begun to be, and it's scheduled within the next week or two to undergo that testing.
Okay. The next
those 8 items that have not yet been tested.
She said it.
Regard to each of those.
You hear what she says.
So that I would expect probably around the same time frame, late October, early November, as the trace comparison.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order expedited testing.
Oh, good.
On those 8 items that have not yet been tested. Yeah. And I want the Commonwealth to be able to report back in the beginning of November the results of all of the testing that's been completed.
Okay.
And if it's not completed, why and when you expect it to be completed.
I mean, this is just, she lets him get away with everything. She's like, I want all the testing completed by November, but if it's not, I want to know why. You know what this is setting them up for? Like he's just going to Lally hears that. He's like, oh, good. I don't have to do it. Because then I'll just come up with more bullshit about why. Because you just gave me an out right there. You just gave me an out, a way I can Lally explain my way out of this. Look at him writing it down.
All of that by November 3rd.
What's this one doing? Playing Minesweeper? What's she looking at on her computer? Oh, is that the sound lady?
For B, the defendant's request number 4 for the infotainment.
Okay.
And have pictures of the circuitry.
Your Honor, if I could just speak to that. So the photos are on a disc and in the papers.
Oh, here we go.
This morning. Also, when I spoke to Trooper Garino, he indicated that following his conversation with Ms. Gaffney, who was the defendant's expert, yesterday afternoon, that he had forwarded an email with each of those photographs.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Okay. So if you talk to her today, if she's a medical examiner, is that all taken care of? The original death certificate?
Yeah,
you didn't raise that this morning, Ms. Little.
Yes,
so, okay, so request number 5 is all set.
Yes, Your Honor.
Apparently they got the death
So regarding the
they got the death
request
certificate
for all of those notes, a 2-week date.
So the death certificate, John's death certificate from Brockton says amended on it, which means changed or added to. So that means the original death certificate they have not read yet. They've not seen it. And apparently they went, they've asked Lally for it and he refused to do it. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they just went and did it themselves. So apparently that issue is taken care of.
So let's get that by the 29th of September.
Oh, God.
Response report. we move on to the Commonwealth's motion for an order regarding expedited testing.
Okay. Oh, great. More
Exhaustive
loudly.
testing, the Commonwealth's
Okay.
motion.
I'll let you address that.
Yes, I'll put that in here.
Oh, God. Look at it. Look at him.
All right. So Lally, I'll hear you on the exhaustive testing.
Oh, great. We get to hear Lally more.
Yes, Your Honor. So
I'll skip
very
through this,
simply
I
put,
promise.
There is two items that, as I just referenced earlier, had been subject to DNA testing in July.
Oh, the hair. He talks about the
Among
hair.
those items was
Watch this.
the root end of a hair, item 3-6.1 from item 3-6, which was a hair that was recovered from the rear bumper of the defendant's vehicle. The testing that the Commonwealth is requesting would surely be exhaustive based on the size of the sample. The MSPCL, the State Police Lab, does not have the ability to conduct mitochondrial DNA testing or the testing that the Commonwealth is requesting being done in this case. We've identified an external vendor. This item was initially marked by the State Police Lab for an external vendor because of that reason, because of the size of essentially
God.
what is the shaft ends of.
Oh, my God. He's talking about the size of the shaft. Like, really, Lally? Really? You're going to do that to me? The size of the shaft. That's what you're going to blame it on right now. Oh, my God. He could blame a lot of things on the size of the shaft.
And
his
those
wife
reasons,
could
the
too.
Commonwealth is requesting that it be permitted to send it to Bodie Technologies in Borton, Virginia, which is a lab that the Commonwealth and Defense routinely use. I don't think there's any question as to the
Oh, my God. Talk! Spit it out!
the ability of the lab to do said testing. I've also attached as Exhibit C, reached out to Bodie just because obviously, whereas it would be exhaustive testing, we were curious, or I was curious as to whatever their policy was regarding observation of testing procedures. They do somewhat allow for it, but it's more sort of behind glass. And
It was helpful to me to be able to read it.
so for those reasons, whatever, I mean, that is something I think that is up to the defendant through her counsel as far as how she wishes to exercise that. And I'm sure whatever their choice is can be arranged with the lab order was appropriate in order to, prior to sending that sample off and conducting that test.
So you are not asking that I impound exhibit.
Okay.
They've gone so far as to suggest the relevance of that item is it's not just a human hair, it's John O'Keefe's hair.
Yes,
Would establish
thank you.
some sort of physical evidence that my client is.
So now he's bringing this up, and this is a point that really needs to be made, right? Is that they have said in so many motions that hair on Karen Reed's right corner panel, right side rear quarter panel, which apparently is on the side of the car, not the back, is human hair. That it was forensically tested for human hair. And we find something very interesting out that makes the whole court crack up here about this person named Maureen Hartnett, the criminalist who works for the State Police Crime Lab, and her certifications or lack thereof.
Inculpates my client, except when we demanded that the hair be tested under the watchful eye of one of our own experts, which we had not had the advantage of doing at any time prior. It turns out that it wasn't a human hair. On August 25th, 2023, there was DNA testing done on 3-6.1, and the analysis resulted in, quote, no human DNA detected.
Yeah.
STR analysis not performed. I'm holding the DNA results.
Now, so we talked about this in a blog, right? That the DNA test results came back on that hair and it was not human hair. And they've been saying it was human hair the whole time. And they said in a September 1st motion that it was not human hair. Or that they said in the September 1st motion, the prosecution did, that it was human hair. But they knew on August 25th that it wasn't. So they continued to lie in their reports about it. And the day before this hearing, they filed another motion that I didn't have a chance to blog about. They're not happy with the results. So they want someone else to test it. They want it to be mitochondrially tested. some bullshit like that, which requires the hair to be destroyed, apparently. And so it's like they're just shopping for experts. They're unhappy with this. And it's just like these are not people looking for the truth. These are people looking for a conviction. That's all they're looking for. It's not human hair. Of course it's not human hair. It wouldn't matter if it was human hair.
So after a year and a half, so 19 months or so of saying this was a human hair on the back of that bumper, turns out it's not a hair. And DNA testing indicated it was not a hair. And now the Commonwealth seems to be in some sort of triage mode to try to figure out how they made a mistake. And the mistake is, actually, I question whether or not it was a mistake. Because you can make a mistake once. I don't know that you can do it 4 separate times. In 4 different filings before this court, 4 separate times after August 25th. After they had this document in their hand, which the highlighted portion says, no human DNA detected. They filed motions with the following phraseology. Quote, the hair has been forensically confirmed to be a human hair, end quote. Not once, not twice, 4 separate times. And the last time was just this past week when they filed something in front of the Court of Appeal with that exact same.
Really? Oh, so they keep
the human hair. The hair has been forensically confirmed to be a human hair. Your Honor, at some point, that's not a mistake.
Exactly.
That's a deception.
Exactly.
That's a knowing fabrication. That's a lie. And I don't use that word.
And like that, like what's being pointed out right now is so important. And what is Paulo Keefe thinking when he hears this? That, oh yeah, that's not actually human hair. So that's not your brother's hair. Like, what is the judge thinking when she hears this? Like, you've been lying to me this whole time, motherfucker. Like, how Lally never has to explain any of this. It's just wild. It's wild.
Lightly. I'd love to consider this conduct feckless and irresponsible, but it's not. To do this 4 times, this is pernicious and it's intentional. So when the Commonwealth comes to us at the 11th hour and says, oh my goodness, hang on a second, let's all take a time out. We want to destroy the very item that we've been trading on falsely for 18 months to do mitochondrial DNA testing, which would, as Mr. Lally indicates, he's smart enough to know, the lab is smart enough to know that's completely destructive testing. That will be exhausted, it's gone after the mitochondrial DNA is done. I expect that Mr. Lally will say something along the lines of, well, we were just trading on the idea that Maureen Hartnett at our crime lab microscopically confirmed that it was a human hair. And she did. What's the problem with that?
Here we go. Here we go.
She failed her proficiency exam the month before she did the examination.
Oh, snap.
On the exact same issue.
Look at everyone's cracking out.
On the exact, and it's not like a generalized proficiency exam. It's a proficiency exam dedicated or focused on whether or not she can microscopically determine a human hair. And she failed that. So they have Maureen Hartnett saying it's a human hair. She's not even qualified to say it. Then they go back and DNA test it. It comes back not to be a human hair. Then they say, we want to destroy it.
I mean, seriously, that's new information. That's new information right there. Maureen Hartnett, the criminalist for the state police lab, much like Nicholas Guarino, doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. She actually failed her qualification test, has no idea how to test whether or not hair is actually human hair or not. She has no fucking clue. So she might have actually said that, but she knows about as much about it as I do. I haven't passed that test either. So there's that. But so we're on the same basically level. I'm the same level as expert as her. This is why I call myself a doctor. Because all these people with like labels and titles, it doesn't fucking matter. None of it's real. So if this woman, I'm a criminalist too now. I'm everything. I'm all these things. I'm a judge. I'm a prosecutor. I'm an attorney. I'm a doctor. I'm the mayor of Canton. I have as many credentials as these people do. I've never been, successfully sued before. So I'm more deserving on being on the Board of Selectmen than Chris Albert is. So there's that. I've never killed someone in a traffic accident. So I'm better suited to be on a traffic subcommittee than Chris Albert is. I mean, all these are little experts. And so that was a mic drop, man. I mean, that's a huge thing. And the fact that the court, that all these people in the court start laughing about this and the judge doesn't do anything about it. Again, that this is how kids used to test me as a teacher and test any teacher, is they see what they can get away with. And if you don't lay the smack down early, then they know they can walk all over you. And that's the way that's why I don't stand. I have no respect for this woman. I have no respect for her court. Her court's a joke. She's not a serious person. I mean, I've never seen somebody who commands less respect and authority in a courtroom than Beverly Cannone. She's a joke.
My position is it should not be destructively tested, certainly not by the Commonwealth. I understand, I know the Bodie outfit in Virginia, the third-party outfit. They've got a good reputation. However, before anybody gets their hands on that hair, I don't even know if it is a hair.
I don't even know if it is a hair. It's not.
Before they
it's a
get their
fucking
hands
piece
on
of
that
brush.
item, destroy it. I would ask that item be made available to us. This protocol is undertaken all the time throughout the country.
I'm
Have
your
it
dad.
sent
I am
to
your
an
daddy.
expert
You're
of
goddamn
our
right.
choosing, and we have one in mind out of Chicago, probably the most well-reputed microscopic analysis shop in the entire country. We'll have them employed to look at it microscopically, make their own determinations. At that point, Mr. Lally, myself, we can agree if in fact the results are satisfactory to have it exhaustively tested, but certainly not now, not after this, as I said, tortured history of this item.
Okay. So am I going to hear from Mr. Lally or Mr.
Oh, yes.
Kaufman,
Oh,
who wrote Mr. Lally, I'll hear from you.
Oh boy. Here he goes. Here's Lunchbox. Here he comes. We're all laughing.
as
Like,
it
yeah, here he comes.
Pertains to
Oh boy.
hair. So
Yeah, let's
the
hear about
analyst's
it. What do
response
you got?
to the garage of the Canton Police Department labels it as an apparent human hair based on the characteristics that she observes when she removes the item. The item is then taken back to the lab and microscopically analyzed. There are photographs that counsel has from the lab packet that's already been provided. I would submitting any of those photographs to whatever expert they want. I would imagine would concur with Ms. Hartnett's analysis based on those characteristics that it is
What?
human hair.
Oh, okay.
I believe what has just been stated is a complete misrepresentation of what that DNA testing report says.
What does it say?
What the DNA testing report says
What does it
is
say?
that there was no human DNA detected. As the court is well aware, there are essentially 4 steps that are done in a short tandem repeat DNA analysis. The second step being quantitation. So when there is an insufficient amount of a sample, and that's why the root
Good.
end
Here
of
comes
the
the
hair
Lally
is the one that's initially tested for DNA, because you're not getting DNA typically in typical DNA testing from the actual strand of hair, which you're using the root end in the hope that there are some residual skin cells that are left from profile from. That's what no human DNA detected means.
What
which
the
I'm sure
fuck
counsel is well aware of in its representations to the court.
Then why did you test the hair at all? Why did you test the hair at all? If the testing mechanism was not sufficient to find out whether or not it was human hair, then why didn't you fucking do it the first? Why didn't you do it the right way the first time? Seriously, like, does this guy hear what he's saying? Oh,
to the contrary. So the STR analysis is not done on the root end of the hair because there is an insufficient sample for them to even replicate in that quantitative second step. So the findings from the criminologist or the criminalistics expert as a microscopic evaluation of that particular item and identifying it as a human hair is not incongruous with the findings
not
of the DNA
incongruous
that there was no human DNA
It is
detected
what?
on that particular item.
Not
So as far
incongruous.
as this particular item being sent, we're not looking to destroy the item. It's based on the item's size that any further DNA testing is going to exhaust the sample. We're sending it to an outside lab, to an external vendor, and that external vendor does provide for some opportunity for the defendant to send an expert to observe said testing. So there is nothing that's being hidden here or kept from the defendant. All items as far as that microscopic analysis are concerned.
Like, imagine if they test this one more time Imagine if they test this hair one more time and it comes back human DNA one more time, right? It doesn't matter if it comes back human DNA. No jury is going to believe that based on everything that's happened already. The fact that this woman is not sufficiently capable of doing this, has failed her test. The fact that it came back tested and it's not human hair, and then this time it comes back to a jury, that's reasonable doubt. Like immediately, like it doesn't matter if the hair comes back human. It's reasonable doubt because we're getting mixed results here. So at worst, at best, he's going to get reasonable doubt. Nobody's going to believe that anyway. It's not enough to, like, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous that we're even talking about this fucking hair.
Lab notes, photographs, everything pertaining to that has already been provided to counsel. All of the testing results have been provided to counsel, and we're asking for it to be, for the court to order or allow or permit it to be sent to this external vendor to conduct this testing and bring in the order before the court because of their observation policy and because of the likelihood of the exhaustive nature of the test.
Okay.
If the testing is to occur, did they give you a timeline as to, I'm going to hear from you in a minute, Mr. Jackson. I just want to know the answer to this question. Did they give you a timeline as to how quickly that could occur?
I believe 2 months or so is yes.
Everybody laughs. It's always 2 months. Everybody laughs. Like this is a joke. Your courtroom's a joke. 2 months.
At the end of the day, all we're asking for is to have the item reviewed microscopically that has nothing to do with any destructive testing whatsoever. It's going to be reviewed microscopically by somebody who actually knows what they're doing.
Oh!
Problem with Mr. Lally response, and I understand why he's responding this way. Well, there was no deception here. We weren't pulling the wool over the court's eyes or counsel's eyes or anybody else's eyes. It looked like a hair. Why didn't they say that? Why didn't they say it looks like a hair as established by our expert who failed her proficiency examination? That would have been a truthful statement.
Oh, I love how he throws that in.
The statement that they've repeated over and over and over to this court in papers and in affidavits under oath, under penalty of perjury, is the hair has been forensically confirmed. There is no, you can't word salad your way out.
Oh, you can't word salad your way out of it. That's a good line.
That's
a good line right there.
Confirm forensically and scientifically that it is a hair.
You can't word salad your way out of that.
And try to confirm it forensically. And there is no human DNA detected. I understand that the short tandem repeat testing, the mitochondrial testing, has not been done yet. That's their 11th hour sort of Hail Mary to try to cover themselves for what they've already done, which is to basically defraud the court in not one, but two, but three, but four different filings. 3 in front of this court, 1 in front of the Court of Appeal. It just doesn't pass the smell test.
I just like how none of this matters. Like everything he's saying right now is so relevant, and none of it matters because the judge is Beverly Cannone, and she's hearing all of this, like defraud the court, words like that. You've been lying, deceiving, and he's right. He makes a great case for it, and it just doesn't matter because she's the judge, and she's not going to do anything about it, and that's the fucking problem here. And it's just it's frustrating. Poor Karen Reed.
What we're asking for is very simple. We can address the mitochondrial destructive and exhaustive DNA testing at some point down the road. We want access to that item so that we can confirm whether or not it's even microscopically been properly analyzed. That's all we're asking. And I'll submit.
Can you get me an affidavit from your expert as to why photographs are not sufficient?
I can, and I can, as an officer of the court, I can certainly indicate to the court that this has been done enough. I'm experienced enough to know that they can't do it vis-a-vis even a micro photograph. They have to see the item in person, but I can get a declaration to that effect.
And how the procedure would be conducted and how long it might take. Put all of that in writing for me, and I'll consider it when I consider this motion.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Right.
All right. So we'll move on to Mr. Yannetti's motion as to why I should change the conditions of release.
Okay.
You read it.
I just need to clarify, these are expenses since the last bill hearing.
Oh, well, watch this. Watch this shit, by the way.
An affidavit from your client as to her finances. I do not have that.
Yes, I did not file that electronically. I had told your clerk.
But I still don't have it now.
I have it in my hand, Your Honor.
So that doesn't help, does it, Mr. Yannetti? I need to read it.
No, I'm happy.
The way she's laughing about it.
So just give it to me and let me read it.
I just need to clarify. These are expenses since the last bail hearing.
All right, so give me a minute before I hear you on
Yes.
this. Has the Commonwealth seen this?
I'm filing it ex parte.
So no, I have not.
So then again, this is a question I was asked last night about this whole thing. This is, and it just shows like the smallest little fucking thing she gets on their ass about. But meanwhile, all this shit they just brought up about Lally, she doesn't fucking question them about. And the way she condescendingly like laughs, that doesn't do me much good, does it? Oh, what a cunt. What she's looking at here is she wants to see Karen Reed's finances, like a copy of her finances to show like how poor she is, because she's used to indigent people coming into her. Like she's a former court-appointed attorney, so she's used to dealing with indigent people. This is what she wants to see. This is a different situation. This is a situation where this woman is having to pay all this money for these experts to do the job that the police are supposed to do. That's what she needs to, like, that's what they're supposed to be doing here. And she just doesn't get it. Okay, so she reads all the freaking finances. Yep, she's poor. Okay. Yep, she's broke.
Well, doesn't give me enough information on DeBrangan. Doesn't give me enough information at all.
My client has expended multiple, fees to not only experts but also to lawyers prior to the last date as well, Your Honor. In terms of qualifying as indigent, I would argue that we have a little bit of a different situation here. Generally speaking, somebody qualifies as indigent because they can't afford an attorney, they can't afford any experts at all. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is there's an overwhelming financial crush with regard to this particular case. That and there are also, I should say, many more expenses to come, many of which have been already discussed by this court with regard to the multiple experts.
Do you want the opportunity to file a proper affidavit on DeBrangan? This doesn't give me the information that you know that.
We're happy to do that, Your Honor. I would still like to make my argument today.
Okay, you can make your, I can't make the findings on DeBrangan,
Right,
Mr.
well,
Yannetti.
but at the end of the day, Your Honor, if it's supplemented by an affidavit, then the court are, number one, the potential penalty my client faces, and number two, the nature and circumstances of the case.
Okay. I'm going to take a quick break from this just to read some turtle chats real quick. We've got a bunch coming in. I don't want to forget these. Okay. And because it starts, the best stuff happens at the end here. So we got to get to that. Let me read a couple turtle chats first. First up, we got one from Kristen, sends $10 and says, hearing clapping in court was like hearing clapping in church. So unexpected, but so appropriate. Exactly. It was great to hear. And the substitute teacher, Bev, had no control to stop it. My thoughts exactly, Kristen. Thank you. Karl's assless chap sends $5 and says, Troll Homeo thinks my husband Jackie is hot. Ugh. We can share as long as he doesn't forget to call me and promises not to hurt my feelings. Yikes, 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 yikes. Colleen sends $25 and says, you autographed my book and said, thanks for riding the turtle. And it was perfect. Thank you so much. It was so awesome to meet you in person. We were a bit starstruck, I think. No, I'm just a regular guy, I promise. The whole night was such a great time. Thanks to the Roccos, you, Erica, and everyone who made last night happen. Nathan's speech was comparable to his dad's at the courthouse and so heartfelt. We're on the right side. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Absolutely. Thank you, Colleen. Annette sends $10 and says, Lally tries to hide in that front table with his back turned to everyone. Then Miss Little always asks the judge to tell him to come back to the microphone. He gets so mad. He stomps his feet to the back like a little kid. He hates using that microphone, and he was wearing boat shoes with the suit. He was. I noticed that Jackson crosses his arms. That's called getting in position to destroy. Thank you very much, Annette. I appreciate that. Alex sends $26 and says, I'm a Canton resident and would like to remain anonymous. Oops. 3 generations deep, Canton High graduates. Question: why aren't more Boston police, or any police for that matter, standing up for John O'Keefe? I see those Also, I see they're also not lining up to blame Karen either. Thank God. Evens out, but why no police support? That's a good question. I've thought about that too. It's like, if I was a Boston police officer in this situation, like at some point, how long are you going to remain silent on this? Like, they're doing your boy wrong. Like, they're doing John O'Keefe wrong. They're protecting the people that killed him. How are you? You have a right to talk. Karl has a right to talk. Karl shows up and talks. How come no other Boston cops are talking? Like, I know you're thinking these things, but why not just say it? What do you have to lose? Like, you can't get fired for it. So might as well say something. Like Michael Proctor's a punk. How about just say that? Kelly Mack sends $25 and says, who is the dime sitting next to you in court? I want to slide into his DMs. His name's Adam. There we go. Shenanigans sends $10 and says, the Alberts, McCabe's, Proctors, Dugals, and Bukakis that are watching, I'm a former cop, current registered nurse, help run my 2 family businesses and raise my 4-year-old. I don't have an activist bone in my body. When I take 8 hours of my precious time off to stand outside a courthouse, it's because you've done something very wrong. Tell yourselves we're a cult like all you want. The truth is you've lit a fire in all of us, but we're going to watch you burn. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Shenanigans also sends $10 and says, here's another donation just to say Karen is pretty on television, but is absolutely radiant in person. I can see how these 2 town hags with wrinkled up stop and shop faces would hate her on sight. She made prolonged eye contact with every single person there, as if to say, thank you. Yes, she did. Truly, she has a lot of grace that Karen Reed does, doesn't she? So thank you. Truly graceful in a class act. Thank you, Shenanigans. Patricia sends $25 and says, what are the top 3 reasons or evidence that Karen is innocent? We're going to have a tournament for that actually coming up, so stay tuned. Thank you, Patricia. But I would say Lucky Laughlin is by far my number one. Like, Lucky Laughlin is the number one reason in my book. Heather and I sends $20 and says, free Karen Reed. Can I have my boyfriend back? Who's your boyfriend? Free Karen. Thank you very much, Heather. And Danielle sends $5 and says, lunchbox, take the dick out of your mouth, you loser. Well, it's only 1/16 of an inch. Also, Daniel sends $5 and says, police agree with the doctor. Yes, they do. Good police do, at least. Good police definitely agree with Dr. Turtleboy. So thank you very much. Okay, let's get back to here. If anyone else wants to donate, link is at the top of the chat. Donate whatever you want, write whatever message you want, or cash at me $, Uncle Turtleboy, and we can make that happen. Okay, let's play some more.
And the nature and circumstances of the case, as represented by the Commonwealth during its numerous bail arguments regarding this matter. At that arraignment, Your Honor, having read only the scant information that the Commonwealth made available to me, it was still immediately clear to me that this case was a tragedy but not a crime. From the very start, with most of the evidence hidden from the defense, the Commonwealth's case against Karen Reed was extremely thin.
Yes.
And from the start, she had no reason to flee, because even without the results of our investigation, her defense was strong. And it was strong because it was based on innocence.
Yes.
At
Okay.
the time, I learned from somebody else. I learned that somebody else.
This is him talking about in early February when he first took on the case. And for the first time, without saying the name, he's talking about Steve Scanlon, the guy I blogged about last week. Steve Scanlon is the initial whistleblower on this. He is the initial person who comes to Yannetti's office on February 2nd, who I interviewed, Mr. Scanlon, and tells him he was killed inside that house. And I'm like, Steve Scanlon's a bit of can't really get that good of a read on him. If you Google Steve Scanlon, he did some shady shit when he was a CEO with the Jeremiah Oliver case out of Fitchburg. He found Jeremiah Oliver's body, this little 5-year-old boy who was murdered in Fitchburg. Horrible story. But he used like jailhouse snitches to get that information. And the police found him like on the highway, I believe, looking for the suitcase. It was a crazy story. But this guy clearly likes drama almost. Like, he loves to insert himself into shit. And he knew what happened in that house. He knew that John O'Keefe was beat up, that Karen Reed didn't do it. He knew it on February 2nd. He came to David Yannetti before the autopsy photos had been released. So I asked him, I said, how did you know? Like, how did you know this happened? And he's like, it just, without seeing the autopsy photos, he's like, well, I just looked at I heard about it, the way they described it. That's what did it for you? It sounded like he was hiding. Like, he never said to me that, like, oh yeah, I knew someone that was in the house. But again, his daughter is the age of like Caitlin Albert and whatnot. And I have no evidence linking to them whatsoever. But he knew somehow. And I'm sure Brian Albert didn't tell him. He knew Brian Albert, but according to him, they hadn't talked in 5 years. But also he couldn't be involved, he said, because he knew Brian Albert. It was what he called it, like a conflict or some shit. So he's going to talk about Scanlon here for the first time.
Did, in fact, commit a very heinous crime. A friend and colleague of Brian Albert's called me on February 2nd, 2022, only hours after my client was arraigned, and named Brian Albert and his nephew Colin Albert as potential suspects. That tip on day one of this case led us to do the investigation the Commonwealth did not do, the investigation they refused to do. And as my co-counsel has argued today, that investigation revealed that the Commonwealth's investigation was based on one lie.
I'll get to this.
Another.
I'll answer that later.
The exposure of those lies is a major change circumstance which justifies lowering my client's bail to personal recognizance. I'd like the court to consider that at the outset of this case, State Trooper Michael Proctor submitted a report stating that Fairview Road in Canton had not been plowed.
Oh, so he talks about Lucky Laughlin here. This is good.
January 29th,
this is good.
He claimed in that report that Michael Trotta at the DPW had told him during a phone call that he had with him after John O'Keefe was killed. We did not take Michael Proctor's word for that, and thank God we didn't, because we learned that was a lie. Rather than take Michael Proctor's word, we instead said our investigator to speak to Mr. Trotta in February of 2022. He directed us to another man who led us to the plow driver who did plow the street. Our investigator interviewed plow driver Brian Laughlin within a couple of weeks of John O'Keefe's death. Mr. Laughlin told us what he has now told Michael Proctor. Now that Proctor finally got around to speaking to him a year and a half after the fact.
Finally got around.
Shortly after John O'Keefe died, Brian Laughlin told us that he did plow the street in front of 34 Fairview, made a pass by there at 2:30 in the morning on January 29th. And when he passed that house, there was not a lot of snow that had fallen. Visibility was good. The lights were working on his plow. He passed right by the area where John O'Keefe's body would have been if Karen Reed had actually struck him with her vehicle. And he confirmed that at 2:30 a.m., plowing that area, there was no body there.
But what else?
Mr.
What else?
Laughlin was firm with Trooper Proctor. There was no body. And he told him not only was there no body, but if there had been a body there, he would have seen it. He left Michael Proctor in the Commonwealth no wiggle room. The plow driver's testimony should end this case.
Exactly. Like, to me, I said this last night on the stage. This is the most important evidence proving Karen Reed didn't. Just think about it for a second. Just think about it. Lucky Laughlin drives by at 2:30. There's an inch of snow on the ground tops. He reports that there is no body in front of the house and that he would have seen a body if there was a body in front of the house at 2:30. Therefore, it is impossible for Karen Reed to have killed him and left him there at 12:30. There is no scenario in which Karen Reed could have done it. That's it, man. That's it. If you're a judge looking for actual justice, if you're a DA's office looking for actual justice, that is it. It is a wrap. Forget about Proctor and being corrupt and going after him. That's a separate issue. That alone proves that Karen Reed did not do this, that Karen Reed is innocent. Therefore, this needs to end now. Like, that's it. The Google search, that's fucking amazing data showing that there was a conspiracy to kill John O'Keefe. But as far as proving that Karen Reed did not kill John O'Keefe, Lucky Loughlin's testimony is the strongest evidence. That's it. And I was seeing Judge Cannone's face when this was happening, Auntie Bev. I saw Auntie Bev's face. First of all, she looks like a pig with she looks like Miss Piggy with the fucking nose. It's very distracting. But for the first time, she didn't look bored. She looked at him she was hearing this for the first time. The first time. I swear to God, she doesn't read any of the filings before she comes into court. She's hearing this for the first time, and she looked genuinely shocked, which led me to believe that something might happen, but it's Auntie Bev, so of course nothing did.
To put it simply, no body at 2:30 a.m. means Karen Reed is innocent. Forget about all the other evidence that points to her
Exactly.
innocence. This one fact alone prevents the Commonwealth from ever convicting her.
Yes.
No body at 2:30 a.m. She is innocent. But, Your Honor, it's not just that he saw no body at 2:30 a.m. After that, he saw a Ford Edge parked right in the area where John O'Keefe's body was later found. Whoever moved that Ford Edge to that location in the early morning hours of January 29th, hours after Karen Reed left Fairview to go home, that person or persons knows exactly what happened to John O'Keefe. That mysterious driver and his or her accomplices likely know who beat up and killed John O'Keefe, and that person knows how John O'Keefe received all of the scratch marks and bite marks to his arm. This is all brand new information to you, Your Honor, as you did not have the benefit of any of this exculpatory evidence when you were deciding on an appropriate amount of bail. Frankly, when the Commonwealth relies on the nature and circumstances of the case in order to justify bail being set, those nature and circumstances have changed in such a fundamental and drastic way that I'm surprised the Commonwealth is opposing this motion. When you set bail, you did so in part on a representation by Mr. Lally at my client's arraignment that there was that apparent hair on the rear passenger side quarter panel of my client's Lexus. We now know that Mr. Lally relied on the gross examination performed by a criminalist who failed her proficiency exam in performing gross examination.
Look at her dad. Look at her dad.
We now know from the Commonwealth's own testing that not only did the hair not belong to John O'Keefe, it turns out it wasn't even a human hair. That is a significant change circumstance from what was represented to you by the Commonwealth, and that would justify lowering her bail. When you last set bail, Your Honor, you had no idea that one of the Commonwealth's main witnesses, Jennifer McCabe,
Googled how long to die in
who had
cold.
been at Brian Albert's house on the night in
Yeah, we've been over this already.
confirms that the timestamp was 2:27 a.m.
Yeah. So we've been over all this. I'm just skipping some of this because we've been over all this, the Google thing. It's legit. Nice face. The Commonwealth says it's legit. Their own expert that they brought in, Jessica Hyde, confirmed it. It happened at 2:27 a.m. We did a whole show on it. We showed you the actual report that she put out. They lied about what she said. They lied about what she said. They lie about everything.
That the reason is unknown. This is all new information that you did not have when you have set bail in this case. And it goes without saying, Your Honor, that Jennifer McCabe's Google search, trying to determine just how much time had to pass before John O'Keefe would die in the cold, is completely consistent with her guilt or complicity in this crime and completely consistent with my client's innocence. You did not know this, Your Honor, at any time that you set bail, and this is a changed circumstance justifying a reduction. This is on top of the lies that have been uncovered. Not only did Proctor lie about the plowing of the street, not only did Mr. Lally represent that a human hair was found on my client's car when it wasn't, but importantly, Your Honor, you have been lied to by Brian Albert. In opposing our motion to get the animal control records, Mr. Albert's attorney told you that Mr. Albert's dog, Chloe, had no history of attacking human beings. Thank goodness you ordered the records, Your Honor, because we learned that was a lie. And to be clear, I do not believe for a second that Brian Albert's attorney, Greg Henning, would lie to this court.
Exactly.
That leaves only one possibility. Brian Albert lied to him.
Yeah.
Brian Albert told him that Chloe had never attacked a person. Brian Albert was desperate to keep these records secret.
Brian Albert's a liar.
It is now yet another changed circumstance that justifies the lowering of Ms. Reed's bail. Now, I expect that the Commonwealth will argue 2 points in opposing this motion, both from lab reports. One, that John O'Keefe's DNA was found on my client's Lexus, and 2, that there were microscopic pieces of taillights supposedly found.
Like, of course his DNA is going to be on the Lexus. They live together. Of course there's going to be microscopic taillight on his clothes. Michael Proctor put it there. That's what he does. He's the taillight whisperer. Okay? Means nothing.
On his clothing. Both of these arguments are red herrings. Outside of the vehicle several times that taillight.
Now watch now. As far as the taillight, watch this. Watch this. This is good. So this is the new thing that we're going to see right here for the first time. And what, like, this was uncomfortable being in court when this happens. So they have a picture printed out that no one has seen before of John's body on a gurney, and Michael Proctor's foot next to it. And next to Michael Proctor's foot is John O'Keefe's clothing. This is how reckless they were with the stuff that had to be tested. Like, just look at this. Watch this.
You have to trust the person who had custody of John O'Keefe's clothing before it was sent to the lab.
So, Ms. Little, I'm not looking at any, if you show them to.
So there it is right there, okay? That's John's foot. That's Proctor's foot. These are Proctor's legs. That's John's sock. Those are his clothes, okay? That allegedly had the microscopic taillight shit on it, right? And this is how evidence was treated in a murder trial. And this is so important to see. This is so relevant. Because they're the ones bringing up the microscopic taillight shit, saying she's guilty because of this. Well, here's how the evidence was handled. Here's how it was handled. And she's just like, and she said, you know what she says? I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Like, get that. She hates the poster boards. It's real inconvenient for her. She hates it. But she doesn't take it down at first. It's contaminated. Like, that shit is contaminated, man.
To the audience before you show them to me, I'm not going to look at them.
I'm not going
Please
to
put
look
that down. Mr. Yannetti, do you have chalks for your bail argument? Please put that down. Do you have chalks for your bail argument?
I have one chalk that I was intending to show the court at the appropriate time.
I don't need to see a chalk, Mr. Yannetti. You didn't give me sufficient evidence under Commonwealth versus Brangan. So I will hear you because you want to make this statement. So go ahead, but no chalks.
Wait, you're right. Just so we're clear.
The chalks are the.
It's not just her financial status that justifies reducing the bail. The thrust of my argument is all with regard to changed circumstances.
I understand that, so I'm going to let you continue. But a very important piece of this is missing. So go ahead with your argument. No chalks, please.
Yeah. And obviously my argument is, leaving the financial issues aside, the bail should be lowered based on my argument here today that I'm making to this court. I had just stated, Your Honor, that in order for the microscopic supposed pieces of taillight to have any evidentiary value, you have to trust who had custody of them, which means that you have to trust Michael Proctor. And I question, how on earth can anyone trust Michael Proctor? I've previously referred to him as being conflicted.
Yeah, this is good. This is good shit right here.
But it actually does not go far enough to describe what he has done in this case just by taking the case. The more appropriate word to describe him is corrupt.
Yes.
Only a corrupt state trooper would agree to investigate a murder case in which a body was found in the yard of a family friend.
Yes.
Only a corrupt state trooper would keep his ties to that family friend hidden. Only a corrupt state trooper would refuse to go inside the home, which featured the body of a dead police officer on its lawn. Only a corrupt state trooper would write in his report that a street had not been plowed when it had. It was the corrupt Michael Proctor who took custody of John O'Keefe's clothing.
This is a big word.
Clothing was not submitted to the lab until several weeks after Michael Proctor seized it. You, I believe, have seen the chalk, Your Honor. That chalk shows that Michael Proctor is at the hospital. John O'Keefe's body is on a hospital bed. You see Michael Proctor's feet, and at the bottom of his feet, you see a pile of John O'Keefe's clothing, unattended, sloppily thrown on the floor. That's the care with which Michael Proctor treated what they now claim is important evidence. And that clothing was not submitted to the lab, Your Honor, until after Michael Proctor had seized my client's Lexus and therefore seized pieces of the taillight. And you should consider how he treated the evidence afterward as well, in terms of not sending it to the lab until March of 2022. He had it for weeks. Michael Proctor's mother has described the Albert family as the Proctor's second family.
This is the Turtleboy factor
to testify before the grand jury that Brian Albert is the salt of the earth. Michael Proctor's wife has posted about how much they love Colin Albert. The Proctors have.
And by the way, this shit that's happening here right now, we found this stuff. We made this public. All of you people did out there. Like you guys found so much shit, and I got some more shit on Colin. I'm gonna show you tonight, right? You got like all of this shit was never disclosed in court, like by Proctor, never disclosed. And you all found this. You're making the job of the defense easier. You're helping them out. Absolutely. And this is this is insane. The relationship between the Proctors and
been photographed with the Alberts going back over
the Alberts.
Decade. We've shown that Michael Proctor's in a wedding party with Colin Albert.
Yeah.
Colin Albert was the ring bearer at Michael Proctor's sister's wedding. It's so clear that Michael Proctor was both conflicted and corrupt.
Yes, and corrupt.
He had every reason to sprinkle tiny pieces of taillight that he had seized into the
yes,
clothing that he alone took, so that the lab would later find it weeks later, and sure enough, they did. And this supposed discovery does not undercut the fact that Jennifer McCabe Googled how long to die in the cold at 2:27 a.m. and Brian Loughran went by and saw no body outside that house 3 minutes later. So legally, you have all the support you need to release my client on personal recognizance. There's also a practical side to this, which gets into the financial issues, Your Honor, and I'm almost concluding my argument here. You've seen my client's medical expenses in the past. You've been aware of her loss of income. You've also been aware of the numerous experts, witnesses, investigators we've had to retain to do the job that the Commonwealth either failed or refused to do. Those expenses continue to mount. She has not asked this court for a dime to pay for any of those expenses. We're now approaching a trial date, which we will request today. Those expenses continue to mount and indeed will skyrocket. She cannot afford to skimp on these experts. The stakes are too high. She needs every dollar she can to keep going, and $80,000 is a lot of money that would go a long way toward supporting her defense. To make it clear, Your Honor, we are not making this request without offering something in return. I would submit there's nobody in this courtroom who believes my client is a flight risk. Given the national publicity that this case has generated, which I submit will only intensify as we approach a trial date, my client is one of the most recognizable criminal defendants in America.
Yes.
Where on earth would she go, even if she wanted to go somewhere?
Yeah, she wants to be in court.
She's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Her family's here, her doctors.
Here comes the Colin Albert part.
Strengthened herself 100% into this case, financially, emotionally, and intellectually. But if there's any concern at all, Your Honor, this issue, she's really figuratively putting her money where her mouth is. Giving her passport and a waiver of rendition is far more valuable to this court in terms of assuring her appearance in court than $80,000 is. But that $80,000 is more valuable to her because she desperately needs it to defend herself.
Yeah,
because for these reasons, Your Honor, I ask that you help us to level the playing field here. The Commonwealth has unlimited resources. My client does not.
Exactly.
I ask that you release her on recognizance and give her the tools she needs to fight this case.
One more thing.
Thank you.
That's not the mic drop
affidavit to me.
The mic drop part comes up towards the end.
How quickly can you do it?
We have
okay.
The Commonwealth just requests that the bail remain the same. There's no change in circumstances.
There's no change in circumstances. No change in circumstances.
Facts, and I use that term loosely. As
what?
Mr. Yannetti was recounting for the
Listen
court.
to this. Watch this.
Notably absent from his motion in regard to the apparent hair, which I've gone into great detail to explain. I won't bore the court with that explanation again. But what it leaves out is, again, yes, as counsel was alluding to, there were two items that were tested for DNA, one of which being the taillight housing. Just to be clear, the taillight that was within the defendant's vehicle which was then compared to the DNA of the victim, Mr. O'Keefe.
The taillight was in the vehicle? How is the taillight in the vehicle?
And that there was a significant statistical probability of comparison between Mr. O'Keefe to a number followed by 30 zeros. That
What?
Mr.
What is he
DNA was on the taillight.
I don't even know what he's talking about
Same
here.
taillight that was broken when the defendant struck Mr. O'Keefe.
I don't know,
with the
Deb.
vehicle.
I don't know.
Now, as far as
The Proctor. Say the Proctor thing.
what counsel states as Mr. Laughlin's testimony.
Okay.
goes into-
Okay. What are you going to say about Mr. Laughlin's testimony? What's your response to that, Mr. Lally Lunchbox? What's your response to that?
A great detail in the motion as well. What he leaves out, though, is that all these insinuations that the Ford Edge somehow belongs to the Alberts, or Brian Alberts' Ford Edge, or something to that effect. What he leaves out from that interview with Mr. Laughlin is that Mr. Laughlin specifically says that Ford Edge is not Brian Albert's Ford Edge.
And by the way, the interview that he's talking about, it's my interview. My interview, like, so Lally read my interview in which he does specifically tell me it was not Brian. I asked, was it Brian's Ford Edge? No, it wasn't. And so he's like, but it doesn't fucking matter whose Ford Edge it is. What matters is that Karen Reed doesn't own a Ford Edge. That's what matters. It was a Ford Edge. And Karen Reed doesn't drive a Ford Edge, so it couldn't have been her. So who was it? Why haven't the police figured that out? That's the problem, dipshit. That's the cop's job to do. All we know is there was no body at 2:30, so that's it. It's a wrap. It's done. It's over.
Another sort of interesting issue in relation to the affidavit from the investigator in regards to seeing that Ford Edge and his label as such.
And by the way, you guys know, like, if this goes to trial, which hopefully it wasn't, like, I don't know how this works, but I don't see how I don't get called as a witness at this point. Like, Turtleboy takes a stand. I hope it doesn't come to that for their sake, for Karen Reed's sake. But good Lord, because they're quoting my interview here. Like, how do they not bring, like, you know what I mean? Like, how Sean McCabe said he's going to bury me in her backyard. Like, how am I not a witness in this shit by now?
Is that the investigator essentially takes Mr. Laughlin out to the parking lot, points to a Ford Edge, and essentially says, "Is that it?" Somewhat suggestive identification of that particular vehicle.
My God.
Commonwealth would suggest.
Oh, good Lord.
There is simply no evidence of Trooper Proctor having a close connection with the homeowners. There is simply no evidence.
Wait, there is no evidence between one more time?
There is simply no evidence of Trooper Proctor having a close connection with the homeowners. There is simply no evidence.
Like, it's just like when everybody's laughing. Like, there is no evidence that there's a connection to the Alberts. Like, he's just lying. How does the judge not be like, what are you talking about, bitch? They submitted all this evidence. All of it. There's like fucking mountains of evidence. Mountains and mountains and mountains of evidence. You want to see some more evidence? I got some more right here. I found some more. These are posted today. Let me bring this one up. Where'd it go? Hold on. Where'd it go? Where's Miss Window hiding? Where's it hiding? Oh, no. Hold on. No, not that one. What, this one? There it is. Found another picture. Here's another picture. New to evidence. What's this a picture of? Anyone know? Who's the guy on the left there? In his Canton football bullshit. Give me one sec. Who is that guy? Right? And let's see who comments under it. Wait till you see who commented under this picture. right? Let me pull this thing up. Give me 1 second. So the little young lad there, again, I hate bringing kids into this shit, but these animals, and that's what they are, these animals give us no choice, right? Like you're making, if you would just admit that he knows them, then we wouldn't have to prove otherwise. But you insist on the bullshit. The young lad in the middle there is Michael Proctor's nephew, I'm being told. That would be Courtney Proctor's son. And that's Colin. And first of all, it's just like, what is this weird fucking relationship that they like? They're not just friends. Their relationship is bizarre. The Proctors and the Alberts, it's not just close friends. It's fucking weird. Like they get professionally done photos done together. Like Colin Albert is no relation blood-wise to this young lad. Yet somehow, at some point in time, Courtney Proctor is like, we need to get professional photos done with Colin Albert for some fucking reason. My kid needs to be taking a picture with some high school kids. Like, who does this? This is fucking weird. This is so weird. Like, even if, like, so like my close friends, like I obviously have close friends, right? And they have kids. And at no point was I ever like, okay, I need to have so I have close friends that have teenage kids, right? At no point was I ever like, you know what I need to do? I need to get some professionally done photos of my children with my friends' children. That's fucking weird. Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck just like, let's get professionally done fucking photos of our fucking kids together? Can we just talk about what fucking weird that is? That's fucking weird. Why? This is fucking bizarre. Not only is it weird, it establishes that their friendship is so fucking strong that they're fucking family. This is the kind of shit you get done with your family, not friends, family. Oh my God, it's so fucking weird. And look who commented on it. I've never done anything like that. Look who commented. His mommy. Barsamian Proctor, she loves it. She's the one that fucking posted it. Michael Proctor's own fucking mommy posted this shit. And there's the younger Albert there. Who's the good looking one? Right? Okay, cool. I mean, how many weeks ago was this? 127 weeks ago. That's over 2 years. This is before John O'Keefe was killed. It's just like, give me a fucking break. I mean, are we really doing this? And it's weird. There's three young men in the Chris Albert family. Okay? There's 3 of them. And it's like they seem to love Colin the most. You guys want to see the Venmos? I got to show you the Venmos. This is new shit too that I got coming in here. Hold on. I got one source here who sends me so much shit. And okay, let me bring up some. Okay. Let me see. This one is. How much? And you can find out a lot, by the way, on Venmo. Like some of the shit here. Hold on 1 second. You got to see this. You're going to like this. What the fuck? They all just pay each other? Hold on. And by the way, Colin Albert is getting Venmo payments in like 2018 when he's on his 14th birthday. Like, why does he have a Venmo account when he's 13? Like, what is up with that? Hold on. Give me a minute. I got more here. Hold on. You're going to want to see these. or at least a couple of them. All right, give me 1 sec to pull these up. All right, here we go. And I mean, there's hundreds of examples like this, hundreds. So here's Venmo. So there's Courtney Proctor sending money to Colin Albert on March 4th, 2018, which is Colin's 14th birthday. First of all, why does he have a fucking Venmo? That's weird too. And she says, happy birthday to one of my favorite kids of all time. By the way, she doesn't send these to the other two Albert children, just Colin. It's weird how they like Colin. Colin is literally their golden fucking child. I have never seen a child with as much like treated like a fucking god more than Colin Albert. It's bizarre. It's so bizarre. Cindy Daniels pays. This is Colin's grandmother paying her. Michael Proctor sends money to his sister saying shit and shit. How about this one? What's this one show? Oh, that's the same one. What's this one? Oh no, that's Bukkake. You don't want to see that one. Okay. What's this one? Oh, how about this? Sean Good. You guys recognize that name? As in Sergeant Good. One of the responding officers. One of the responding officers at the scene of the crime who does the search of around where John O'Keefe's body is discovered and discovers no taillight. There's no taillight evidence there. Look who he's sending money to. Look who's sending money back and forth. Michael Proctor, who finds taillight 12 hours later that Sean Good missed. So Sean Good searches the scene and doesn't find any taillight. And now 12 hours later, Michael Proctor searches that same scene and finds all sorts of taillight. And then he finds taillight 5 more times when he just randomly goes there and doesn't document it. And now we see that they do fantasy sports together. Fanto, they call it Fanto. So they do fantasy football together and they're sending each other money on fucking Venmo like morons. Now we know, because I've asked many times, how come the Canton police aren't more offended by this? How come they're not saying, no, we searched it. There was no taillight there. And now we know. They're fantasy football buddies. They're pals. They've known each other for a long. He's not going to call out Proctor because they're buddies. Because it's going to make things awkward at the draft this year. They're fucking openly sending themselves money on goddamn Venmo. They know each other. They all live in fucking Canton. And it's just go through the Venmos of these people, of Courtney. They're probably going to take them down now. We've already got them screenshotted. We got hundreds of these, shit like that. So for fucking this clown to get up in court and be like, they don't know each other. Give me a fucking break.
I guess now it's being positioned that he was sprinkling tiny pieces of a taillight, pieces that I described to the court earlier as less than 1/16 of an inch that were embedded within Mr. O'Keefe's clothing.
Embedded.
I'm not going to go
how does it get
over
embedded?
again and again the issue as far as Ms. McCabe's search on her phone. The court has been provided numerous reports from forensic experts disputing whatever Mr. Green's findings are.
Whatever the findings are,
pick and choose as they do with each particular piece of evidence or each report as to what they want to highlight. But the conclusions from Ms. Hyde's report are clear. That from her analysis
of
that search was conducted
Liar.
respectively at 6:23 a.m. and 6:24 a.m. It is not a mystery as to when that search was.
No one disputes that it was done at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m. You dumb shit motherfucker. We've been over this.
Or why that search was conducted. It was conducted by Ms. McCabe at the bequest of the defendant. As far as anything pertaining to Ms. Reed's financial resources, again, those were filed ex parte. And as the court, so I really can't speak to those. All I can speak to as far as financial resources is this case was initially arraigned in the Southern District Court. The court set a cash bail of $50,000. The defendant posted that within minutes. The defendant was then arraigned in this court.
Okay. So he's got one more statement.
With regard to the DNA being a match or a presumed match of John O'Keefe, what Mr. Lally didn't tell you is that that sample was a mixture of John O'Keefe and two unknown people.
Oh.
So I don't know if the Commonwealth is changing its theory again to say that my client struck John O'Keefe and two other people and the other two people somehow got away. But that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The second thing is with regard to the Ford Edge that Brian Laughlin saw outside that property, I would say two things. Number one, assume it was not Brian Albert's Ford Edge. It doesn't matter because there was somebody there outside the property where the body was found after 2:30 a.m. They would have either seen or not seen a body and known or not known that there was a body there. But finally, with regard to that point, Mr. Laughlin was clear that it was not Brian Albert's Ford Edge. What he did not tell you, what Mr. Lally did not tell you is there's another member of the Albert family that has a Ford Edge, and that's Colin Albert.
Oh! Oh! Yes! 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 Look at this!
So, Ms. Giannetti, I need that affidavit by next Friday. So.
And she's just like, that means nothing to her. It means absolutely fucking nothing to her. She's like, yeah, so about the affidavit.
I'll take this motion under advisement. All right. So I said at the beginning that we need to set dates. And it's been mentioned that there have been a couple of trial conference dates. There have.
By the way,
the council have not.
Look at Court TV does here. Watch this. Look at this. Watch this.
Conference sometime.
What the fuck is up with that?
Maybe.
Like, what is that? Why is Court TV doing that? They know. They know. They know. They know. Vinnie Politan, that's my buddy. He's got he constantly references me coming on there, and rightfully so, because he knows I'm right. And he knows I'm smarter than the tools that he has on there. And Vinny's the man. He defended me several times when these tools were like, this is a mindless mob.
26, 27, 28 in there.
Why are they doing that? Why are they doing this? That's wild. That's wild. So they fucking zoom in on me. It's just weird. So anyway, Vinny said he's coming up for the trial. If we get to that, it'll be on March 12th. So first of all, clear my schedule if that happens. Like, clear my fucking schedule. Like, I got to go to Dedham every fucking day for at least a month. This trial would be at least a month long. The trial would be a month. The jury would need 5 minutes. Like, that's it. It's over. And I would be there every fucking day. I mean, it's like, I don't know where I'd figure it out. I might rent in a fucking apartment, some shit there. Like, I'm there, baby. Like, every fucking day. But I don't think we're going to get there. I doubt we're going to get there. That's 6 months now. And that's good because now the feds know the exact time frame here. That is exactly how much time they have to get this shit going, because my sources tell me that the feds are not prepared, will not allow this to go to a trial. In case you're wondering, they're not going to allow it to go to a trial. And this would be right around the time of Ratchet Madness. So just saying, I'm just saying. But okay, I got a couple donos here. We got Kathleen sends $25 on the turtle chat. She says, listening to Lally reminds me of watching Archie Bunker pretending to hang or shoot himself listening to Edith. It's funny because I get the reference. It's so true. Painful, Kathleen says. Colleen sends $10 and says, keep up the hard work and effort, Dr. Turtleboy. Proud to be on the right side of history. Thank you. I'm proud too. Nicholas sends $24, says it's crystal clear to all turtle riders. This is a massive deep state cover up by low level dirty cops, Albert, dirty DAs, and the judge too. All these bad actor co-conspirators really take orders from the top down. Okay. George Soros, Tippy O'Neill, secret courts of mass, framing Karen. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you very much, Nicholas. So appreciate that, Dono. Let me check the Cash App. Got another one here for I saw it. Somebody message. I got one here. I had it. Hold on. Or not. Maybe I didn't. Okay. Yeah, the last one was from Daniel Litchfield, and I'm pretty sure I read this. Police agree with the doc. Okay, cool. All right. If anyone else wants to donate, you can click at the link at the top for the turtle chat. If not, or you can do the Cash App at $sign Uncle Turtleboy. Let's end this by watching the Jen McCabe freak out, brought to us by a turtle rider. This was hilarious. We got to watch this. So Jen McCabe didn't go to court, right? And because rightfully so, we have shamed her into no longer going to court. But a turtle rider, I don't know if this was yesterday or when, but a turtle rider went to her house, which, by the way, 100% fair game. Enough of this, like, oh, be nice to them. You shouldn't go to their house. No, you should. You should be peaceful about it. Don't threaten. You have a right to do that. And these people, every day they're free is a disgrace. And in case you were inclined to feel bad for this woman, just understand that this is how she reacts. I love how she brings out the cell phone and starts taping them. Like, what are you going to do with that video? Well, watch this.
How do you? Wow.
You guys are being taken for a fool.
That's terrible.
We're
being taken for a fool. Tell us how. How? How do you? How?
I feel bad.
Oh, here we go. You should. You should. Terrible. What a terrible life.
You guys are being taken for a fool. I feel bad. Like that's how the snotty fucking, girl from high school talks. You guys are being taken for a fool. I feel bad. Oh, she feels bad for you, bitch. Like, she's putting on this front like she's not dead on the inside. Like, she's not freaking the fuck out. Like, she's like they don't know everything she did. No one else in this feels the need to, Chris Albert to an extent, but nobody else feels the need to put up this public facade that everything's fine, everything's normal. Brian Albert's doing the opposite. And then this lady this homely looking lady comes over. I don't know who this one is. Maybe they're letting the the people from the goth table become friends with them. Maybe they're desperate for friends now. I don't know who this woman is, but she tries to get her to stop.
Hey, really? Even if you get off, you get up every day and look in the mirror. How do you do it?
Have a good will, have a great life. We're going to be on this side of the bars. You're going to be on the other side of the bars.
So sad. I feel bad for you. I actually pray for you.
Who's yelling out the window?
What a mess.
Oh, guess no, probably doesn't. He doesn't want to come out either, just like somebody else. He's like, Brian, bye.
You want to meet for drinks? Okay.
You're still there?
Okay. All right, horse face. Bye-bye.
All right, horse face. She goes, keep sending money to Karen. Like, what a cunt. Like, think of what she's doing to Karen Reed. And to say something like that, keep sending money to Karen. Keep sending money to Karen. No, fuck off. Horse face. Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions or anything to end the night? Well, long show. Long fucking show, but worth it. I think we had a lot to get through there. Anybody have any questions they want to ask? Fire away. Fire away. Hoss face. Easton. So I went to Easton yesterday. Somebody lives in Easton. and I was doing a little reconnaissance there, and I knocked on your door in Easton. And they have a German Shepherd. Let's just put it that way. It's not Chloe though. It's these people have a fascination with German Shepherds, and the people that live in Easton know who they are. They live at 75. We know your address, 75. I went there, knocked on your door yesterday. You had mail. There was a piece of mail in there for you. Sorry about the mailbox. But went to your house. You weren't home, it appears. Anxious to see what kind of car you drive. Just saying. Anxious to see what kind of vehicle you drive. And if it might be a Ford Edge. We'll see. We'll find out soon, won't we? Because I'll be back. We're going to find you. You know, the person I'm talking about knows who I'm talking. Like, they know. Yeah, we found you. We know where you said you were that night. We know what time you said you were there. You know that conflicts with something that you said earlier about what time you were there. And we know you had to speak to the grand jury. We know that. And we know that you might have been in the house too. And maybe, just maybe, you were involved in the murder of John O'Keefe and the disposal of his body. And maybe that's why you're no longer on the list to be a Canton police officer. Maybe it is. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. Anyone else have any other questions they want to ask me? The paint job on John's car. Good question. So rumor is, Karen Reed backed into John's car on her way out and she broke her taillight. And the prosecution saying, and the state police are saying, well, that couldn't have happened. She didn't hit his car, even though the slow motion of it clearly hits it. The car moves. Well, they're saying there's no damage to John's car, so she didn't hit it. And you can clearly see the taillight on the way out is missing a piece, or part of it is not working. Well, it may appear that sources are saying that possibly some work was done to John's car afterwards to get rid of any potential missing paint, for instance, maybe a paint job, and maybe Karl Dugal was involved in that. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? Yeah. Okay. So there's that. Now, Caitlin is Brian Albert's oldest daughter. Caitlin's boyfriend is Tristan Morris, who used to live on Dedham Street with his mommy. He grew up in Canton, of course. Of course, she married some guy from Canton. And he's been, banging Brian Albert's daughter for quite some time now. They were out together at the Waterfall Bar that night. And somehow Caitlin Albert's story is that she went back to Fairview Road and Tristan Morris picked her up there even though they were out together at the Waterfall Bar. How does that make sense? But she got out of there at 12:15, right before John O'Keefe arrived. Coincidentally, except maybe that's not what she's saying anymore. Maybe she's saying now that she left at a different time. Maybe when she spoke to the grand jury, they had geofence data showing that she was actually in the house for quite some time. And maybe her attorney, Greg Henning, who's also the attorney for Brian Albert, who has lied to him about the dog, also told him the feds know where, if you were in the house, the feds know it. So maybe you should come clean. And maybe, just maybe, she's now saying a different time. Maybe she's saying that she went back to somewhere in Easton. I don't know. But we found you. 75. So see you soon. All right. Anyone else have any questions? I mean, it's just so gross, isn't it? It's all, but we're just a mindless mob. We have no minds. We don't think for ourselves. We're a mindless mob. Somebody delivered goddamn donuts and coffee. Thank you for the donuts and coffee. They got there at right when I was going inside. And then the fucking delivery guy, can we talk about that dude for a second? What's up with that dude? we watch that video real quick of like what was up with the delivery guy? Hold on. We got to bring this up. I got to show the live. Because the guy is like, don't put me on camera. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking Turtleboy. I'm in the middle of a stream.
We're here in Dedham. We're going
Hold
live.
on. This is when I first walked down the stairs. Check this out. So this is me walking down the stairs of the courthouse.
Punks, punks, punks.
Oh. So here's me walking down the stairs, and I see Bukhenik. There they are. There's Bukhenik and Good coming out of the clerk's office. Like, what were they doing in there the whole time?
They want to come to the hearing? Punks, punks, punks.
Okay, so they got nothing to say to me. Now where's the delivery guy? What's up with him? Hold on.
We're here with a free Karen Reed. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. In at the 10.
You're losing the battery.
Am I losing the battery? Bring it on, Proctor. Bring it on. We're going to stop. Boy, search it on YouTube. Watch the 30-minute frame video. Read our stories. Read the court documents. An innocent woman is being lynched. Lynched. That's what they're trying to do to her. This is a state. You can go over there, and then this won't be blocked. Again. We're here for justice for John. Justice for John and Karen. Love it. Justice for John and Karen.
Hold on. Where's the delivery guy? Oh, here's Bukhenik coming in.
Oh, he covered up the murder of John O'Keefe. He covered up the murder of John O'Keefe. There it is. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Oh, you want to arrest him? You want to arrest him, you punk? Disgraceful. You're a disgrace. You want to arrest me, you punk? You punk. You disgraceful.
Like, look.
I'm going to take that. Oh, you want to hold on to it? All right. What time is it right now? 8:33. 8:33. Okay. So listen, I'm going to go in. I'm going to be going into the courthouse in a minute, guys.
Watch this. Watch this.
What was that? Are you trying to do a delivery?
To you.
Oh, hey. I'm going in the courthouse.
Please don't put me on camera. You get delivery?
I'm doing live. I'm going inside.
Is it free and paid for?
Look at this guy.
Listen, put it on the inside. All right, you want me to hold anything?
Matthew sent it. Okay, it's paid for. Hey, all right, guys, look at. I'm going in.
It's just like, dude, the guy goes, "Don't put me on camera." I'm like, dude, I'm in the middle of a fucking stream here. You're bringing like, what are you talking about? Don't put me on camera. What do you think? It's like, what the fuck? You walked into the middle of a live stream. What are you doing? What do you care? Anyway, anyone else have any other questions they want to ask? Like, did anybody eat those donuts? Did anybody eat? I was hungry as shit. I could have eaten a donut. All right. Any more questions before we call it an evening? Give you guys a second. Where is Proctor? He's too much of a punk to show his face. He's a punk. Oh, you passed him out to everyone. Good man, Nick. Thank you. I know. He walked up to the guy with the megaphone and the camera, and he's like, I don't want to be on film. And he's like, it's for you. It's like, how do you know who I am? Porn stash. Okay. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Hopefully very soon. Maybe next week. We'll see. Free Canary from South Carolina. Yeah, this is a growing movement. I stopped doing where you're repping. There's too many people. We'll have to bring that back soon. But Anyway, I'm gonna call it a night because it's getting late. But I might do a stream on Monday night, just breaking down the court TV assholes, because we need to start calling these people out more. So anyway, guys, we will see you guys all for the next episode of the regular live show on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Thank everybody for joining me. Thank everybody who came yesterday to the Star Drive-In, to the courthouse itself. Everybody who's given and helped out as best they can. We love you guys all. You're really making a difference in this case, and we're gonna win. And Karen Reed's gonna be free, and we're all gonna live happily ever after. And you're gonna be able to tell your kids someday that you were part of something bigger than yourself, that you were part of a movement that helped an innocent woman, that saved her life, that, you know, got justice for an innocent police officer who was murdered by a bunch of punks, and you guys made the difference. So we'll see you guys all for the next episode of Live. Peace.